The wheel of time turns and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth comes again. In one age, called the third age by some, an age yet to come, an age long past. A wind rose in the Black Hills. The wind was not the beginning. There are neither beginnings nor endings to the turning of the wheel of time, but it was a beginning. Born in the low heights of those rolling hills, it blew north. Down through water-carved valleys, it howled through home and hearth of the folk of Three Forks. It raced into the borderland kingdom of Saldaea, buffeting and biting at the garb of the curious group on the road. 7 mismatched souls, no two alike, stood eyeing each other with uncertainty and recognition in their eyes, drawn together like so many threads in the pattern for reasons they cannot yet know. This is their story. Welcome, my friends, to our premiere of this exciting new show. I am so very glad to have you all here with us. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for Supreme Hype Train. I can't even get over it as we're just firing up. You guys are all too cool. Todd, the hero in here in the room already, buttering me up with the gift sub. Thank you, man. So now that I'm done with my panicked, frantic attempt to make sure that you can all hear me, welcome, my friends. How are you guys all doing tonight? How is everyone?
Good.
Great.
Ready.
Indeed. Ready indeed. The wheel of time weaves, and so we shall play. Oh my God, a level 5 hype train. You guys are really too kind. They get me all excited so that we can never even play the game because they just keep hyping me up. This magnificent chat. So, threads in the pattern. A Wheel of Time tabletop role-playing game. What the heck is that? I will tell you what it is. First of all, for anybody who's here that is just a fan of D&D and has popped in and oh yeah, I've seen this guy DM Philly stream some D&D before. He seems all right. Let's see what's going on. You may not have heard of the Wheel of Time. That's wild. It's an extraordinary series. Perhaps, no, certainly it is amongst the great American works of fantasy written by Robert Jordan. It spans 15 books. Unfortunately, he had an untimely passing and was not able to complete the series. It was handed off to Brandon Sanderson to finish it. Sanderson, big in the news these days as he's shattering records, panicking the entire publishing industry, raising $40 million on Kickstarter. But nonetheless, about 2.5 years ago, I discovered the Wheel of Time. It was first brought to my attention at post show recaps. Go figure, as that is the place where many of us have met, and I think many of you wonderful folks hail from. And so I read it. I knew that there was a TV series coming out being produced by Rafe Judkins, all-time Survivor player, Survivor Guatemala. This is a real intersection of my interests for those who are concerned with those types of things. So I wanted to read it before the Wiggler shout out. Indeed. Thank you for your first time chat, Adderall Hummus. We love Wiggler. We love Adderall and Hummus. Sure, all those things. So I chewed through the Wheel of Time knowing that the show was coming out because I wanted to read the text before I saw it realized on screen, and I was not disappointed. I've read a lot of fantasy in my life. The Wheel of Time hit me like a Mack truck. I finished Memory of Light, the final book in the series, and was apoplectic. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was depressed. It was the day after Christmas. I was crying. I was really all worked up, and I was wait a minute. I've still got these books. I can read them again. And so I did. And so for like the last like 2 to 3 years of my life, I've been steeped in the Wheel of Time. Which brings us to the illustrious cast that I have assembled for this exercise. As we all are friends in the post show recaps community. It's a great internet space. It's a podcast network where we talk about film and TV and books and fiction, comic books, you name it. We talk about it. And so, on joining Post Show Recaps Discord when they launched their Patreon program last year, the lot of us met one another and began talking. And slowly, we started to draw out the Wheel of Time fans. And so this group represents the secret Wheel of Time DM chat that we've kind of had for the last year and a half. While we've all been talking about the show is coming and we're excited, we are at all kinds of like places in our reads of the Wheel of Time. But like the common denominator is that like I think we all love it. You know, it is not flawless, but it's really like struck my heart, and I think it struck many of our hearts in similar ways. So, if I may, let us like take a moment here as I will go around and we should introduce the individuals that we've assembled here. I've been talking for altogether too long, but suffice to say that amongst my collection of way too many RPGs that I do not play was the Wheel of Time role-playing game, published by Wizards of the Coast back in 2001. It's built off the back of 3rd edition D&D. It uses a lot of those rules. I played a lot of 3rd edition D&D, you guys, and I loved it. And it's very complicated, and I forgot how complicated it was. It was like, well, this seems like a great idea. Who wants to play? And so these 6 compassionate souls all volunteered themselves to my clutches, I mean, my stream. And so we now are all going to play this slightly antiquated role-playing game that has really got a robust set of rules built behind it and has adapted a lot of the stuff that like we really love about the world of the Wheel of Time to make it accessible for us as players. So let us talk. Eric, you are up in the top left, my friend. Why don't you introduce the people to yourself and then just give me a heads up, talk about the Wheel of Time, how you got here.
Yeah, hi, I'm Eric Davestein, and my history with the Wheel of Time is it's a fantasy series that I was aware of for a long time but never read. I don't remember exactly why, but I just at one point decided I should read that, and I did. That was about 6 or 7 years ago. It took me a long time to get through it. I'm not the fastest reader, but I did it, and I had no one to talk to about it, though. I don't know any other Wheel of Time fans, so I just kind of was like, that was great, and I put it back on my shelf, and then I kind of moved on, and then it's been fun over the past year plus being in the post show recaps Discord, and really for the first time connecting with other Wheel of Time fans and kind of reigniting my appreciation for the series. And so that's where we are. I've started rereading the series again for the second time, taking it slowly. I've just read book 1. Now I'm taking a pause, and I'm excited to play your game here, Rich. I have no experience with 3rd edition D&D. I started playing 5th edition a year ago, and so this has been interesting to get a grasp on the rules here, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, pretty quickly on as we started talking, you were like, hey, I'd love to be involved, but like I've never like played 3rd edition before. I was like, don't worry about it. Part of the exercise of what we're doing here is learning, you guys. This is an actual play. We're gonna like play the game, and we do not have Wheel of Time tabletop role-playing game Beyond to go like look up all these rules. We have a book. We're rolling like kind of old school. We've got ourselves a Roll20 that does a little bit of math for us, so thank the gods for that. But we're looking stuff up in books like back in the day. It feels like old school D&D to me in that sense. But I like love the character that you have created to play in this, Eric. Why don't you give the folks like a little one-on-one? You don't have to reveal any secrets, but what do you think like viewers should know about the character you're playing in this game?
My character's name is Bren. He is an Ibudari man, about 27 years old. Um, he, in short, his history is that he grew up in the poor section of Ibudar, the Rahad, in a family whose profession was pottery. At some point in his teenage years, he discovered that he had a special talent with working with the fire, with the pottery, that was unnatural. He is a wilder, and as he discovered how to use and understand that power, uh, people became suspicious that he was not what he appeared to be, and so he's been on the run for probably a decade now, just moving from place to place, not staying anywhere too long, making a living for a little while he can, and then just moving on to the next place, so that he never gets too close to people, never gets too settled, because he can't afford to. Because if people know who he is, he's in danger.
Excellent. Wilders to be had. In case you were worried that we weren't going to have a male channeler, we got one. So fear not. Eric, man, I'm very excited to have you here. I'm very grateful you're willing to jump in the ring with us, and I am excited to see what happens with Bren as we move along through our story. David, how about yourself, my friend? Also worth noting, Eric and I, completionists, we have finished the series, right? And we have not all, which is pretty cool. So good job, dude. Well done. I'm like, wish I could be the folks who haven't finished it yet, so I could like read the end for the first time once more. But David, welcome officially to Twitch TV/GM Philly. I'm delighted to have you here.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm excited to be here. Very excited. I'm David Maloney, also from the PSR Discord. Played a lot of 3rd edition, so I'm probably the only person here with any experience with it, I think. This has been very exciting to get back to it in some ways. I read The Wheel of Time when it first came out. It came out when I was in middle school. I am that old. And then when I got around to like book 10, I got tired of reading all the previous books again before the book came out, and I decided to wait till it was finished. And then I didn't go back and finish it. So I started reading it last year, mostly because Rich is so enthusiastic about it. It inspired me.
I'll take it.
Yeah. And so I'm up to like, I think book 5. This is book 5, right? Shadow Rising is book 5, guys? Yeah. So
4.
4?
Yeah.
Thanks. I don't know. It's all, I read really fast and it just kind of blurs together. But I'm really excited to get to the end. Huge fan of Lan. Lan is like one of the greatest characters in all of fiction. And mostly I'm reading it because, besides Rich telling me to, because I want to know what happened to Lan at the end. So don't tell me, first of all. I'll find out soon.
I keep reiterating this because we are at different places, right? So be gentle with the spoilers in the chat, right? Essentially, book 6, everything kind of up through book 6 is discussed in some fashion or another within the context of the rule book, right? And we kind of like explore some of the big reveals that occur in the series through the rules of the text. I'm delighted to have you here, David. I needed another 3rd edition bringer. I can't do it alone. Between the two of us, we'll remember like a quarter of what we forgot, at least, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Lan, amazing. We all love Lan. Analine, people unto himself. My cat even loves Lan. He's screaming. Why don't you tell folks a little bit about the character you're playing today?
So I am playing a Shinarian warrior named Drayson Hakar. And yes, I named him Drayson because that's the name I use on Discord, and I thought it would be fun to make y'all call me that, since that's what you first knew me as. And Drayson is a swordsman. He aspires to be a blade master. He aspires to have a name that lives forever. He wants to be worthy to be called by the horn when the horn is blown. He will probably be very sad when he finds out the horn has already been blown when that happens. But yeah, that's Drayson.
Blade Master engaged. We have our male channeler. We have a would-be Blade Master. Also very funny for those of us that are have played a lot of D&D with David. We all play D&D together on the post-show recaps Discord. David's character's name is Davrin. We are heading into Saldaea, where the Marshal General is named Davrim Bashir. He's playing Drayson. That's how we were all introduced to him. The names are going to get confusing, but it's going to be a good time. That is my cat Pinky screaming. That's how you know Melissa is real Philly fam, that she can identify the cats through an auditory cue on the screen. Well caught. So a male channeler, a would-be Blade Master. Tom, you're all the way over on the left there. Why don't you introduce everybody to yourself, talk about the wheel?
Yeah. Hello, my name's Tom Palmer. I read Wheel of Time when I got in right after book 10 was released. I read them all. And then I read 11 through 14 as they were being released live. So I have finished the series, read it a couple more times, then got into Brandon Sanderson very hardcore, which I've been getting Philly and trying to get Philly into as well as pretty much everyone else on this call. And everyone in the PSR Discord. Yeah, but like at the show coming out and everyone suddenly talking about it, got back into the Wheel of Time books, excited to play 3.5. I've never really played 3.5, always been in 5, so new experience there. My character is Sarah. She is a Terran woman who went to the White Tower to become an Aes Sedai. Her focus was on learning about past cultures. However, as she was studying these ancient cultures, she learned that the reason why they were all destroyed was men channeling. So she became a member of the Red Aja, and is dedicated to protecting the world from male channelers. So we'll see how that goes.
Wow. That already seems complicated, Tom. However, we got to resolve that. We shall see. Let's play and find out. Tom, in our discussions over this last year, he's put up a pretty strong defense of the Red Aja and intends to reclaim their honor. Not, I guess, that they ever lost any honor. Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm very glad that you decided to go with an Aes Sedai. It's very interesting that you went with a red Aes Sedai, and I'm very, very hyped to have you here. You've succeeded at getting me into the Sanderson. We have started a Mistborn book club. Wasn't able to do it this weekend, but we'll be back next Saturday at 3 p.m. talking about Mistborn Part 3, which I'm ripping through and really delighted by. The only thing holding me back is that I show up every week to discuss part of it in the book club, so I can't finish it in like 2 days. But it's quite good. I'm like really hyped to like jump deep down the Sanderson hole. The way that he ends this series, I think, is like a masterclass in storytelling, and he impressed me like beyond proportion with his achievement there. So I am delighted to officially have you here as well, Tom. OG Philly fam in the house in like our players tonight. So it's a really, it's a treat. OG Philly fam, Taylor, you're up there in the top, in the middle. Everybody knows who you are if they've been here, but just in case they don't.
Yes. Hello, everyone, and everyone who doesn't know me. I'm Taylor. I frequent this corner of the internet rather often. I am currently on book 7 of my Wheel of Time journey. Rich and I have known each other for a very long time. I've followed the journey via Rich while he was reading the Wheel of Time. I would show up to work every day and ask him how the books were going. Yeah, I fully intended on diving in, but I was reading Sanderson and was finishing up the Cosmere. So I'm coming in from the opposite end of things, having read all of the Cosmere and having now jumped into the Wheel of Time. I've played lots of 5th edition D&D, have not played 3.5. I'm really loving it so far. I'm really excited to play it.
What are you playing, Taylor, my friend?
Well, I am playing an Ogier, our very much a loyal S character who has wandered out of her grove, looking to live history as things are starting to shift in the world. So, yeah.
For anybody unfamiliar with the Wheel of Time, you've probably heard the word ogre before, but that is not what Taylor said. She said Ogier. And the Ogier of the Wheel of Time world are these magnificent beings. They are ancient, they are timeless, they are sort of the main race other than humans that we find in this world, though their numbers are not nearly in scale to that of humanity. It is a human world. It is not a place with elves and dwarves, oh my. But the Ogier are very druidic. They sing to the trees. They live for many years. And they're kind of bound geographically, physically to these places called steadings. When the Ogier leave the steadings, they suffer from what's called like the longing. And they can actually get sick. It can kill them if they spend too long away from their homes. So it's a very like fascinating journey for an Ogier to be out and about in the world is notable. For an Ogier to be out and about, like adventuring, is particularly notable. For Taylor to be playing one is very on brand, and I am hyped to like have an Ogier in the party. Ogier locked and loaded. Taylor, I'm glad I convinced you to read the books. That was good. That was good.
It
Good
was
job.
very easy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
It
love it.
wasn't that hard at all. Beneath you is our friend Todd, the librarian, as he is affectionately known in our part of the world. Another like OG Philly fam. I'm like so glad to have you here, Todd. We have podcasted before. We have premiered your musical stylings here before, but now you're going to play D&D here, and I'm like delighted. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. So much like David, I started reading Wheel of Time stuff when it first came out because I also am that old, and I read them as it came out. I didn't really know anyone who was into them, so I went to college, and like all my college roommates were really into the series. So typically, I would buy the book, and then they would all bum it off of me after I was done. But I was a fast reader, so I'd get done with it pretty quickly. And much like David, I only got to book 9 before I kind of fell off and didn't get back into it until recently because of all the hype from everyone in PSR, Philly especially. So over the course of last year, I went through and reread everything I'd read before, and then went ahead and pushed through and read the whole series. So now I am all caught up on the Wheel of Time stuff and ready to jump into. I read a little bit of Sanderson. Now I'm ready to like read Store My Archives is the big thing everyone's pushing on it. But yeah, so, and I'm another one who has only played 5th edition D&D. I've had like brushes with almost playing 3rd edition and 3.5. Like the number of times that someone wanted to get a game together and I created a character and then no game ever actually happened it's a non-zero number. We'll say that. But yeah, so I am excited and nervous to do 3rd edition because it's a lot.
It's a lot. There's like 40 skills on that list, Todd. It adds up real quickly, doesn't it? Yep.
Yeah, and as someone who relies way too heavily on D&D Beyond and Roll20 to do all my math and stuff like that, I went up having like create like workarounds for like spell damage and things like that, so I can actually like not have to remember what all the modifiers and things are. So hopefully it will all work correctly this time.
Spells, you say, Todd? Why don't you tell the people what kind of character you're playing?
Oh yeah, so like Eric, I am also playing a male channeler, a wilder who has not broken through his mental block to use his abilities. So my character, Callum Hearn, is like a Midlander, and his trigger to be able to embrace the one power is fear. But thankfully, Callum is scared of just about everything, so it's he's got that going for him, I guess. So
Works out well. That's how you find like some diplomacy between like the red sister and a male channeler. You outnumber her with 2 male channelers to 1 Aes Sedai, and so we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited to see how Callum's story unfolds as we go, how he manages that block and his fear. It's a very exciting character, and I'm like delighted to have you here, man. Finally, our last participant tonight is none other than Alan Mandragoran himself. We got him. There he is. I'm just kidding. There is a man there, though it might be a familiar Borderlander face to some of you Wheel of Time fans. Prez, how are you?
I am well. Hello, Philly. Here we are, finally.
Yes, dude. Welcome to DM Philly. I am delighted to have you here as well. We have like talked about the Wheel of Time a lot in the last year, so yes, I'm like psyched to have you here for this exercise.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's one of the first things that like kind of like brought us together as friends, and a bunch of us actually conversing in the Discord, in the PSR Discord, and getting to know each other through our similar loves of fantasy.
Mhm. You are a man of great mystery, if it is not clear to the viewing audience. But why don't you tell folks just a little bit about, your like introduction to the wheel, your relationship, where you're at, and who you're playing?
Sure, yeah. So I'm the man they call Prez. And I know Eric said that he was a slow reader earlier, but I think I got him beat. I started reading The Wheel of Time in 2004. And
Yes.
if my math like serves me correctly, I think that was 18 years ago. Is that right? Oh my God. I'm old. Anyway, so I was one of those people that read, up to book 6, or I think I read the first 6 books, and then real life happened and had to put it down. And I did that 3 times, I think. And finally now, when 2020 craziness happened, I was like, I'm getting through this whole series. I'm now at halfway through book 13. I'm determined to finally finish it.
Yes, into the Sanderson stuff. Prez, I have made a pact with Prez that I will not start Stormlight Archives until he finishes the Wheel of Time. So yeah, we gotta make tracks, man, because Tom and Taylor are on our heels. They're pushing.
We'll get there. We'll get there in due time for sure. Well, first of all, as far as my favorite characters are concerned, I'm definitely a Rand man and a land man, Dragon.
Bash on.
Exactly right.
Amazing.
But I am actually playing an Aiel this time. I am playing an Aiel named Naharak Iswid, and loosely translated, that means like your horizon is dark or your horizon is black. And so this Aiel, when he was 15 years old, he went on the first mission with his sept over the spine of the world to the Bloodstone battle, where he helped in the slaying of King Laemon. But the unfortunate part for him is he was pretty severely injured, and he got separated from the rest of his Aiel and managed to make his way to an Ogier steading. But by the time he was healed, he couldn't find any Aiel anywhere. So he ended up trapped on this side of the spine of the world, and has decided that he's going to explore and learn the world of the Wetlanders, but hide his origins, because he doesn't want to suffer the fates of his brothers and sisters. And this is where he's been for pretty much the last 20 years.
Very, very cool stuff. An Aiel out of water, that doesn't fit appropriately at all. I love this Aiel that has been amongst the Wetlanders for 20 years, right? Longer even than he spent being raised amongst them. And so that is the gist. This is our party, ladies and gentlemen, and my friends. We have the 6 players and myself. We're going to be moving forward. We're not professional actors. We are dramatic people who love to role play and love role playing games. But be gentle with us along the way. We're going to be spending a bunch of time looking up rules. We're going to fumble. We're going to get stuff wrong. But I think we're probably going to have a bunch of fun. I'm going to try to craft a story that will mirror that of the Wheel of Time itself. As the Dragon Reborn walks from Emmon's field, the 6 of you have stumbled upon one another in these haphazard circumstances that brought you together on the southern border of the great borderland kingdom of Saldaea. And so unless there are any other questions or stuff, if there's any kind of like homework or bookkeeping we should go over.
Don't think so.
Let us begin.
Alrighty then. We've spent the last few months prepping. We built our characters. We've been practicing, and so we run a few practice sessions. We've begun establishing who these characters are and kind of gotten their skin a little bit. And so I think that with that, I thank you all for your patience on this maiden voyage of Threads in the Pattern, and I think that we shall begin. And so as the wind blows down from the Black Hills, tearing through the deep-cut valleys over the tops of streams, racing through the thin wooden buildings of the village of Three Forks that you left behind some hours ago, it meets the seven of you as you stand on this road leading north into Saldaea. 6 grown people, some 50 or 60 feet away. A young adolescent boy hides behind a rock, peering at the lot of you in your eclectic garb, with your swords and axes and ashandarai, with the strange manifestations of fire and stone that you conjured around you to defend yourselves. And so the 6 of you look at each other, faces familiar, seen before in your dreams. For as we know, dreams are important, perhaps more so than we even realize. There is familiarity, uncertainty, fear, tension. As the camera lifts above the 6 of you, panning around the view of this road winding north out of the hills, we see on the ground, sprawled about, a half-dozen riders, cut, burned, battered, and blasted, their horses having scattered into the foggy morning around you. And so I say to the 6 of you, what would you like to do?
I think Bren steps forward and responds to Naharik. They attacked us. They tried to rob us. We were defending ourselves. Hey, but you look familiar. You guys look familiar.
Yes, these men were deserters from the Saldaea military. They tried to share a cave with us in the rain last night, but attempted to rob us in our sleep. We drove them off, but they followed us when we attempted to leave with friends. I'm not sure if we could have survived without your help.
Well, then I'm glad we found you. We heard the noise and I think Renora like looks to Daniel, is like he's nearby.
Yes,
little boy.
there is this like 15-year-old kind of sandy-haired boy. His eyes like almond-shaped in that style of the Saldaean people. He's kind of lean and scraggly, and he's like cowering behind this boulder, like peering over it, eyes wide, like shaking a little bit.
Are you okay? And I think Renora like realized that she's pointing with her giant like tree sung axe and like puts it back on her back, and like kind of looks at herself. If I remember correctly, there was somebody rent apart in front of her at one point, so probably covered in blood. Are you okay? Is everyone okay?
I'm okay, yes. Todd, what were you saying Callum did? We lost you for a second there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Callum is very freaked out on multiple levels. First of all, the fight, he tried to stop some of the riders and accidentally blew up them and their horses in one fell swoop, which he's never done anything quite like that before. And it's pretty gruesome, and he's kind of freaked out about that. And then also a fireball appeared to take out some other people, but he couldn't see the weaves for it, which he knows means that it was from an Aes Sedai. So now he's really freaked out because there's an Aes Sedai here while he and his fellow male channeler were using their abilities pretty flagrantly. So he's just like, oh no, what do we do? 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 Bryn, what do we do? Bryn, what do we do?
You two can calm down. I promise I do not intend to hurt you.
Okay. Did I dream about
Well,
you?
that is.
Did you dream about me?
I think I've met you people in my dreams before. Is that weird? That's I don't know. That's weird.
It's not just you.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
I don't remember that guy, and he points to, I think, Daniel behind the rock.
Me?
Who's that?
This is a boy.
Yeah, yes, I'm a boy. My name is Daniel.
We're
Don't
not
be
going to hurt
afraid.
you, Daniel.
We are taking him back to the nearest village. He was lost. We're trying to help him come back.
Well, we are taking him with us.
Yes.
I don't think we need to stop him. I think he is under my protection.
And mine.
And mine.
Do you often travel with children?
No.
This boy was in a bit of trouble, and so I saw that it was necessary for me to offer him some protection. I would also like to offer you two, and Saraz looking at Callum and Bren, my protection as well. I do not know if you are aware of what you have done, but I would like to make sure that that you use your powers safely.
What do you mean by that? Well, everything I've heard about the Aes Sedai is that they kill male channelers and hurt them.
Many people say many things that are not true.
I've
Is
heard that you can
That's
fly.
untrue.
Perhaps we should continue this conversation in a location that is not so open. We are, after all, standing 30 feet from multiple dead bodies. Any Saldaeans that come by might have questions.
As you make this point, Drayson, I think that it's early in the morning. The kind of sun concealed by the gray kind of blanket of clouds that shrouds the sky, mist like cloying to the kind of brownish grass of the hillside around you. And I think that, the mist is just kind of starting to thin, and you can kind of just like make out the sight of like the thin trails of blue smoke rolling up from the village in the hills behind you of Three Forks. I think we hear like dog barking in the distance, and I would like for everybody to roll a spot check.
Ooh.
And Rich, I think my character's still holding on to the one power here.
Indeed you are. You have seized
And
it
so-
and are holding Sidene.
And so I have a feat that will grant me a +4 to spot checks when I am holding on to the one power.
Indeed you do. Bren hyper aware of his surroundings as the power like flows around him like a raging volcano. Sarah, Drayson, Bren, I think that the three of you, like as like you hear the dog barking from behind, from the village that you left behind, turning, I think you can make out the sight of a rider on a horse, like making their way kind of down the winding path from the hills from the town. It's hard to like catch any details, but it looks like one person on horseback coming down out of the village, down the road, like kind of straight towards you. They will catch up with you in like a minute if you guys don't move.
Someone's coming on horseback. Should we
Oh,
hide?
dear. Well, we should probably get off the road.
Yes, I do not think we need to deal with these riders. Let's get moving.
It's just one person.
We don't need to hurt anyone.
Oh no,
Else.
I wasn't expecting that to be necessary.
Did anyone salvage anything off the dead bodies? Anyone?
No, that wasn't actually my first instinct.
Amazing.
All right. Well,
to-
maybe we can come back for that later, I guess.
Come on, let's move. Let's move.
They were
You want to
Not
give
all
a quick search of the bodies as you go, Naharik?
Naharak will search the bodies.
Go for it. Roll a search check.
Renora has grabbed Daniel and I think is like gently, but is like
pay
ushering him
special
off the
attention to the one
road.
in the armor. He's the one who's likely to have something.
Well, Naharak probably did not find much.
As you go over to him, he does have like a coin purse that's like pretty obvious, and he's got like a sword, like a kind of cavalryman's sword. It doesn't look quite as like ornate as the pair of swords that Drayson has strapped upon his back. But yeah, we know how you feel about swords.
Naharak will not touch the sword.
You can grab up his belt pouch if you want, which has it's got like 25 gold crowns in it.
Naharak will take the gold crowns and go running towards Renora.
And so as you like kind of snap the pouch off, the rest of you, let me ask, what are you guys going to do? Are you where do you want to go? You want to try to like move off the road and hide somewhere? Or are you trying to like press forward?
Yeah.
I think we should just press forward. We can probably outrun this guy. Probably.
Yeah, Sarah is motioning to get off the road, expecting everyone to kind of follow her.
Yeah, Renora is like ushering Daniel off the road and is like, gonna like attempt to hide like in the trees, I think.
Okay, cool. Renora, why don't we have you make a wilderness lore check? And I suppose Sarah, like, yeah, are you trying to like lead anyone anywhere, or are you like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm trying to lead as well. So wilderness
uh,
or what's the check?
yeah, I think that
I'm seeing survival, not wilderness.
for you, make a survival check. Go for it.
Yeah, sure.
And I think while they're doing this, Drayson will turn to his two regular traveling companions and just say, if the Aes Sedai says she is not going to harm you, you should be safe for now.
Are you sure, Drayson?
She cannot lie.
Okay. And then Callum will look to Bryn, because basically Callum defers to Bryn on all like the big decisions since they've been
Yeah.
traveling together, watching out
Mhm.
for each other. So Callum's gonna look to Bryn like, what do you think, Bryn?
I think Bren looks back at Callum and kind of whispers, well, I think Drayson would know more about this than us, and I guess let's listen to him.
Okay. Callum is still fiercely gripping tight to the power. He is not let go of it. He is still freaked out and is not letting his guard down.
Okay. The pair of you both hanging on to Sidene. So Sarah, as you're like kind of gesturing everybody over from the side of the road, you start like scanning down. The hill like slopes down, the road kind of like on a crest turning this way. And like you're looking and you just don't like see anywhere ideal that you think you're gonna be able to like conceal all these people. You're kind of scanning it. But I think that Renora with like the boy Daniel at her side kind of moves past you very like decisively and confidently as you see this like hollow down near stream, right? As you get to the bottom of the hill, there's a winding kind of stream with these big overhanging willows and these like bundles of reeds, dried and still standing after winter. And I think that you feel pretty confident you could like hide the group pretty well in this area. If everybody wants to follow the Ogier down to like duck into the woods.
Yeah, Renora's like gesturing to everyone, like, this way, off the road.
Glory to the builders.
And so the group of you moved, your 2 horses with you, 7 people, Renora kind of confidently leading in front. And you make your way down. The stream is like rather small. It's easy to traverse, though it's like running kind of quickly with the like late winter snow, rather, as we're in this early part of the spring, end of the winter here. You're able to kind of like cross over it without any great distress. And I guess I'm going to say to the group of you, you all can make hide checks at +4 because like Renora has found a pretty good place to conceal you.
And we're in the woods, yeah?
Yeah, you are in the woods.
Love it. So I get +2, so total +6. Love it.
Okay, we got a 15, we got a 26. Oh boy. Okay.
16.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be noted that the heights of these characters.
Let's, as we watch them go, how big is Renora? Why don't you describe Renora for us at the front of this pack?
Yeah, Renora is a 7'6", ogier. So she has like the floppy ears. She has this like tangle of like golden straw colored hair that has like little braids in it and like flowers, and she's not wearing any armor. She's just sort of this like just like kind of like adventurer's clothes on that have little like embroidery on the edges. Not too much because she's not an elder by any means. And she has a giant axe that looks as though it was made with like tree branches that are like woven together, as well as a longbow, and lots of pouches. Yeah.
And so as we watch her kind of like move first to this young kind of farm kid next to her, he's got a heavy pack slung over his shoulder, all kind of skin and bones, mostly limb, in that like lanky kind of 14, 15-year-old stage, this mop of kind of sandy blondish hair. Yeah, why don't we have the rest of you guys describe yourselves? Sarah, as you're kind of following Renora, what exactly do you look like? What do we see?
Yeah, Sarah is much shorter, obviously. She's just a little over 5 foot. She's a bit of a stouter woman with dark brown hair, gray eyes. She's wearing a mostly gray dress, but with fringes of red for her aja that she keeps with her. And she does not quite have the ageless expression that most Aes Sedai get, because she is still a new Aes Sedai, and so her face is not yet taken on that ageless expression. So she still looks like a young woman, even younger she looks than her 30-ish years of life.
Excellent. And no ring, right? No great serpent ring like visible out on your hand?
She has that hidden away at the moment.
Okay. Very, very notable. So as Renora goes and then Sarah kind of following, Drayson, what do we see as you pass behind these two?
Drayson is like I said, he's a Shanarian warrior, so he has his hair up in a top knot. Notably, he does not have the sides of his head shaved. His hair is growing back. And the other notable thing about his hair is that the tip of it is dyed red. It is bright red, whereas the rest of his hair is black. And as Rich mentioned, he wears 2 warden's swords on his back. If you look closely, you'll notice that one of them looks like it is well used, and the other one does not. It looks like it is actually never been used. It just sits there on his back.
Love it. Wearing like a male shirt, you're kind of like
Yeah.
the most obviously armored of this
Yeah.
group.
Got a short bow.
And the height?
He's not that tall. He's only like 6'3".
Mm-hmm.
Only 6'3".
Only
Only
6'3".
6'3".
Mm-hmm.
You know, doesn't have any kind of like freckles or anything. Or,
No golden freckles on this guy.
no.
And so as Drayson like moves confidently, the warrior stride, the Shinaran top knot kind of bobbing with the red tip at the end of it, following behind Callum. What exactly do you look like as we're watching?
So Callum is relatively young. He's still a teenager, like an older teen, but still in his teens. He's pretty scrawny. He's about 5'8", got short brown hair. He's a fairly good-looking kid, but he has like a pretty big scar running down the left side of his face, from just like right above his eye down from the cave-in where he first demonstrated his powers, like the first time that the fear kicked in. And other than that, just like really pretty plain clothes. He has a pickaxe, which is his used to be his tool of his trade, is now is like his weapon of choice, I guess, the weapon of convenience. But yeah, and he has like a little necklace that's like a stone, that's like his one like keepsake from home.
Oh, nice. Okay,
and
cool.
he's leading his horse Feldspar along with them here too.
Yes. And so as Calum like kind of like walks over the stream, like a little bit perhaps more tentatively than Drayson, Hakar Feldspar like following with his great stride. Bren behind. What exactly do you look like?
Bren is he appears not quite like a local. You can tell he's not from around here. He has dark hair and olive complexion of the Ibudari, which might mark him as an outsider here. But apart from that, he's pretty ordinary looking. He's of average height for a man, physically not very imposing. Average looking features. He has shaggy black hair and a short beard. He's about 27 years old, which is fairly young, but compared to the young Callum that he's been journeying with together for a few months now, he's the senior of the two, and he wears plain traveling clothes, carries a pack on his back, and a light crossbow strapped to his back, but more of a hunting type weapon than a military weapon. And you all can't see it, but under his cloak he carries a jeweled dagger, which is traditional for the Ibudari, and that's probably the only thing that he carries that really has probably made it all the way from Ibudar to here.
We love jeweled daggers in the Wheel of Time. Awesome. Naharik Iswid, as you kind of like tuck away your 10th, your share of the spoils of this skirmish that has occurred, kind of following up as the rear guard of this group, what exactly do we see?
Yeah, so Naharik Iswid, he's about 6'6". Like many Aiel, he's got bronze skin and light eyes, these piercing green eyes. He shaves his head bald, though, because he doesn't want to give away the fact that he's an Aiel, but he does grow a full red beard in its stead. He walks around in leather armor, and he has an Ashandari, which is like a quarterstaff with like a spear-like blade, and it remains slung behind him. And attached to his long brown cloak is a hood and a veil. And generally, when you come across Naharik Iswid, you kind of get the sense that he's, a veteran of battle. He looks a little battle worn.
Excellent. And so, as the 6 of you, Daniel with you, making 7, kind of cross the stream, moving up as Renora guides you behind these kind of massive willow trees, sliding in behind these reeds, you all kind of start like ducking down. The horses kind of moved out in front as you guys are trying to conceal yourselves. And so, you like turning all kind of probably anxiously looking back up towards the road.
Yeah,
You
and
catch- Yep.
I'd say Callum was going to try to do the thing that he tried to do before,
Yes.
where he is going to reach out with his weaves, and all of a sudden, behind them, they'll see what looks like just like stone just appear out of thin air as he weaves false wall, which basically just creates this solid wall of air, but it has an illusion around it where it actually looks like rock. So he's just kind of using that just like obscure whoever might be looking at the road, obscure their view of the group to make it harder for them to be spotted.
Excellent. And so, like, as you conjure up this wall, in the moment before it kind of like manifests, just like concealing all of you with this sort of illusion of stone before you, I think you all catch sight of this silhouette of what looks like a kind of slighter frame, a smaller person on the back of what is obviously like a farm horse, not some great kind of cavalry beast. And they're like peering down in the direction of where you went, very clearly able to like gain some perception of the fact that the group of you made your way down here. And then the wall kind of like appears, obscuring them from sight on both sides, right, Todd? Like you guys can't see through it either, can you?
Right. Yeah. It's just like
Okay, cool.
just a wall suddenly.
Got it. And as the wall like emerges, you guys kind of like lose sight of her. And Daniel is just like, I don't know how you all came to be here, but I don't want to stay near this town much longer. I left to get away from here. I know, miss, that you asked questions, but I'm not like these two. I can't do the things they can. I'm no dark friend. I can't touch any kind of power. I don't know anything about it. And then that candle maker, he's just an angry old man who's sick of losing card games to me. But I'm not like these two.
We will see. I promise, much as I promised them, I do not intend to give you any harm. I just believe it is in your best interest for now to travel with me. Now, please, would you stay by the ogre? I would like to talk to these two fine men. And she will gesture to Bren and Callum to have an aside.
So, Billy, can I do some sort of like sense motive check to see if Callum realizes just how much work that word intend is doing in the Aes Sedai sentence there?
Sure, absolutely you can. You can roll sense motive. And then Tom, I'm gonna say to you, like, it's up to you, like, whether or not that this is probably like a diplomacy check, maybe. Or like, you can discern from like what we get. Okay, so Callum with a 17 has like a pretty good read. So what's the interpretation you would give Callum with the 17 on that read?
I think Callum can probably tell that Sarah is intentionally putting that word in there as a way that if things go bad, she wouldn't be restrained from protecting herself.
I don't know if you caught all that, Todd, right? But yeah, I think that Callum has like a pretty clear read that like she's very intentionally putting it there, like Tom's saying, right? To like couch the phrase. If it's true for now, but if things change.
All right.
Okay. And so as the boy goes over to Renora, Sarah, like you want to move over to Brandon Callum.
Yeah. So you two obviously can channel. I as you can tell, I am from the White Tower. I have studied much about your lot, and I have a lot of information that could perhaps be helpful to the two of you. However, I need you two to both be honest with me and tell me about your channeling and how long have you been channeling?
I think Bren probably exchanges a look with Callum here. I don't know if there's any meaning Callum gives him in a look back. I think Bren is kind of projecting some skepticism here. I think Bren's response is, you have a lot of questions, Aes Sedai. How do we even know we can trust you?
I am a member of the White Tower. I have sworn an oath on an oath rod that I cannot lie. By the light and my hope of salvation, I cannot speak one word that is not true. So I believe I am more than trustworthy. The same, unfortunately, cannot be said for the two of you. So I'm being forced to trust you on your word, and I need to know how long. I need to know certain things about how long you've been channeling and what you have experienced, what you've learned to do with the One Power.
We've done nothing to make us seem untrustworthy, Aes Sedai. We didn't choose to be this way. And in fact, I think the fact that we're still standing here today with no blood on our hands, that we didn't, other than self-defense. You saw them attack us.
For those, I understand, and I've used the One Power in self-defense as well. So I will not hold that against you. But at the same time, I need to be aware. You must understand, as men who can channel, you are fated to suffer madness, and as an Aes Sedai of the One Tower, I am pledged to protect the world from the negative effects of that madness. So I need to know whether how long you have been channeling and what you have learned to do with the One Power.
A few years. We've learned to survive with it. That's all he's giving you.
I haven't been doing it as long as Bryn has, but yeah, just, I mean, how to protect ourselves is mainly what, like that wall. It's just to keep people from hurting us. That's what I do. That's it.
Yes. And when you are channeling, do you notice any ill effects on yourselves? Do you hear any voices that are not there?
Assuming you're actually here, no.
Yeah, that is
the whole meeting you guys in dreams. The whole fact that we met you guys in dreams. I mean, that's a little freaky. That I dreamed about you and now you're here, and I mean, is that the taint? Is that? I don't know. I don't hear any voices, but that's not normal, right?
It is not normal. However, since I too have seen you in my dreams, that is not the effect of madness, from what I can tell. So,
okay, we're all mad together, right? I'm sorry. I'm nervous.
Again, it is a funny
joke,
but if you learn the history, that it is no longer so funny. For now, though, I could use the two of your help. The boy over there, Daniel, despite what he says, I have reason to believe that he may also have access to the One Power. And would you two be able to tell if he could channel?
That's a good question, Philly. Would we be able to tell?
So great question. When you two are near one another and one of you begins channeling, you can like sense that, though it's like much less acute than it is for like the actual the Aes Sedai, for like females who are dealing with Sidar. Let me double check myself.
I think there's probably a way to find out, but us being untrained wouldn't know how. I would think we would not know unless he started channeling.
Yeah, that's where I was leaning. I feel like whenever Bryn and Callum met, it basically, I think Callum was channeling and Bryn sensed it and like took him under his wing, but didn't know until like the power was actually used.
Yep, you can tell when like another man is like holding Sidene, like kind of the volume, right? Like you know when you're close to them, but you got to be close, and you can like get that sense of kind of like what how much strength they're holding within them in the moment, right?
Okay. So I think Bren responds, no, I don't think we would know unless he was already channeling. Have you seen him do anything like that?
I have not seen him do anything. I have heard rumors. I wish to check on these rumors, and I think the two of you could help. If you travel with us, and I would like you to keep an eye on Daniel and let me know if you see any sign that he like you can touch the one power. Are you willing to agree to that?
Travel with you? I don't even know where you're going or why. Where are you going?
I'm traveling to Meridon.
And what do you intend to do when you get there?
I am going there for White Tower business. That is all that you need to know at this time.
I think Bren looks at Callum kind of with a look that hints like, you okay with this?
Oh, man. And Callum is weighing his options here. I think in this moment, Callum is... he's been worried since he found out he could channel about what might happen. And the fact that the Aes Sedai is offering that she has some knowledge that could be helpful to them is like a little bit of glimmer of hope. Like he and Bryn were traveling because they thought they might be able to find someone who could help them. But here's someone who's saying that they might be able to help and who supposedly can't lie. So I think at this point, and the dreams, and like seeing them all in the dreams. It's Callum was raised in a small village, which is fairly superstitious, and so I think he puts a lot of like stock in that. So he kind of half-heartedly gives Bryn a nod, like kind of like, yeah, let's ride this out for now.
Okay. I think Bren sees that and responds to the Aes Sedai. All right. I hear your predicament. You say you can't lie. Tell us that you have our best interests in mind, and I will do what you ask.
I promise I have the best interests of the entire world in mind.
I think it's on that line that the camera shifts a little bit as we take in, let me ask, I guess, Naharik, Renora, and Drayson, what are you three doing in this moment? Like the three of them are all kind of like couched up together by this willow tree, talking in hushed tones.
I think that Jason is struggling a little bit because he has a natural inclination to defer to an Aes Sedai. That is how things are done in Shinar. But at the same time, he feels a responsibility to these two young men that he happened to cross on the road and, thought that they were not capable of surviving by themselves. But for the moment, he's going to just kind of watch them talk and take the measure of these other two individuals that he has encountered in his dreams that are here. And so he'll turn to Naharik and Renora. Nod at them both. Please favor your swords, or neither of you use a sword, so
No.
I don't use the sword. Sword is not for me.
I
you
don't
should try
think we got your names.
Hmm.
We have met before, but
I am Drayson Nakar of Mido and Shinar. My friends, Bern and Callum. They're good. They're good lads.
well, your name sings in my ears, Drayson Hakar. Now, and Renora like looks to Daniel. Daniel, do you know the rider? Did you recognize them?
I think that it was Amelia from the village, the washerwoman. It looked like her horse, old farm nag. I don't know what she would be doing out here, but I don't.
Does she care for you? Would she be looking for you?
No. No one cares. Not that much. Not enough to come looking, at least.
And yet she was here. Why else would she be out here?
I don't know, sir. I recognize another borderlander when I see one, but I wouldn't lie to you. I don't know. I'm out of my depth here. I'm a simple soul. After father died, it was hard to find a way, make ends meet. I'm just good at cards. It helps. Pay for the things that we need.
Maybe the washerwoman was going to the creek to wash the clothes.
It's rather late for that.
No, there's water in the village. She has everything that she needs right at her home. I'm not sure, but look, Lumarvoon, the candle maker, I've taken much coin from him over the past months. Fairly, mind you, fairly. I don't cheat. I play well. And he's an angry man with an axe to grind, but I've seen him before meeting with people. Whispering in the dark of night. He's not a good man. He's not to be trusted. And if he had his way, he would take the skin off my body and leave me to rot in a ditch, be eaten by dogs. It's only a matter of time before he comes for me. And I will do what the Aes Sedai says. I am not a madman. But I do not feel safe here. The sooner we go, the better.
Indeed.
I don't know if we're trying to stay off the road, but there are farms to the northwest. If we cross the streams and stay off the beaten path, I can show you to them. Decent people with barns, at least, who can put roofs over our heads.
That sounds like a good idea to me.
Depends on if my friends feel comfortable. The Aes Sedai.
I imagine that will have a great deal to do with what she says. As he turns, looking towards Sorrel with a hint of fear mixed with the awe in his eyes, maybe,
I think Renora looks to Naharik too. It's what do you think, my friend?
I think that we are the ones in danger when these men can use the one power. So I think they have nothing to worry about. It is us that we should be worrying about.
I have traveled with them. They have only ever used it to defend themselves.
I do not question their judgment. I question their madness.
I have considered that.
And I think that the camera rises, we take in the distinct separate sets of individuals as the camera kind of pulls back, the trail of the stream kind of winding down between the hills, right? The fog like beginning to burn off. And I think that we see like the lone like rider on the horse like making her way kind of back up the hill towards the village. And as she does so, I would like for everybody to roll a listen check.
Ooh.
So many crazy skills in 3rd edition, you guys. Oh my gosh. Ooh.
Hey.
20!
Whoa!
For the ice to die, let's go.
Sarah, you hear it first, though all of you hear it as we like kind of fade to black. The camera like cuts away from this lone woman riding back to the town up in the hills, and we drop back in on the group of you standing by this river. The sound of the water cascading over the stones, sort of filling up the space, but above it, all of you hear it. Sarah, you catch it first, the pounding of hoofbeats. Not one, not hundreds, but perhaps a dozen, 10, hard to say, as you hear what sounds like horses kind of like pounding down the hard packed road on the top of the hill in the distance. What would you all like to do?
Can you keep up with the horses?
Sure, they're up on the
They're
road.
not like in line of sight of you, but you hear like, I want you to imagine you're down at the stream looking up this hillside, the road kind of on the crest, and I think you hear from the top of the hill the like pounding of horses. Boom, 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 boom. Right.
Builder, can you keep up with our horses?
Can I keep up with the horses? Nark and I can keep up with your horses.
Horses are slow. Of course we can keep up.
Kisra and I will take that bet someday, but not today. Let's be off.
The boy and Sarah, you will need a horse to ride.
Yes.
There's one there. One of those riders' horses. And I think that you could see like a little bit further downstream, there is like a horse fully saddled with the saddlebags, like head down in the water, kind of drinking as you scattered a half dozen horses but an hour ago.
Yeah. Jason will kick Kisra and roll over to there and grab the reins of this horse and lead it back over to Sarai.
Excellent. I think
Do I need-
I think we gotta roll dice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that there's got to be an animal handling check here. What do we got? Handle animal, same difference.
There it is, yeah.
And
Yeah. It's so
actually
different. That sounds like one of the things that they were like. This needs to be changed.
I do have ranks in that.
Ooh.
Huzzah! Easily, Drayson, the Shinaran known for their elite cavalry, only perhaps outshone by the cavalry of Saldaea. I'm going to try to say Saldaea like that as much as possible over
Yeah,
the course
please.
of the next
Yeah,
10
yeah.
months.
absolutely.
Grayson would not agree with that assessment. He thinks that Shenar and Lancers are much better than Saldeans.
Yeah, a
Of course.
preposterous assessment, but one that has been made by those less aware than yourself, Drayson Akar. Nonetheless, you easily get the reins of this horse and are able to kind of lead it back to the Aes Sedai.
Thank you,
There you
good
go.
sir.
Mm.
And you have been traveling with these two men for a while, I hear.
Indeed.
And your assessment of them is that they have not yet succumbed to the madness.
I have seen no evidence of madness. Aes Sedai. These are decent men. They have acted only to defend themselves and me.
Well, thank you for that assessment. And Sarah will take the horses, and she will mount up.
Okay. And so as Sarah like climbs up into the saddle, Caleb, Drayson, all of you like with your horses, Naharik, Renora on foot. Bren, are you riding with your friend?
Yeah, I think he's going to hop on with Callum there, and I think he's going to take the moment without anyone else listening in to tell him, I don't think we can fully trust this Aes Sedai, but what else are we going to do? Fight her? Run away? She'll catch us. Let's just be on our guard.
Yeah, I think we just got to be... I believe that she can't lie, but I think we got to be really careful to listen to what she does say, because that intend was doing a lot of work in that sentence about harming us, so just, yeah, be on your guard.
Yeah. And then I think for the first time since the encounter with the attackers, Ren finally releases his hold on the one power.
Callum still has a hold of it. There's hoofbeats. he's not letting go until they're like pretty much guaranteed to place the rest for the night.
A tale of two wilders, as I think, Bren, you feel like the greasy, slick, tainted sardine fall away, like coursing through your hands like so much kind of greased rope, while Callum, like you're you know, all you can, like 80% of your focus is like around the kind of overwhelming intensity of the power around you, while you're like grasping onto it, terrified to let go lest you can't get a hold of it again. So I say to the group of you, as you mount up, Bren and Callum on one horse, Drayson, Sarah each on their own, what do you guys want to do? As you've heard like these horses pound past you on the road heading to the north, you're kind of like off the side of the road a bit. Where do you guys want to go? What do you want to do?
I think Renora, like, number one, I think she does like make it a point to go to like everyone and like properly introduce herself and like give the greeting. But I think she will like look to Daniel and like, will you point the way?
I told the builder, but there are some farms that I know off the beaten path. I don't know what your intention is, Aes Sedai. I mean to cause no trouble. I'll follow where you take me, but if we're trying to avoid trouble on the roads, I know some folk that might be able to shelter us.
Yes, then I think in that case, why don't you get on the horse with me, and you can point us in the right direction.
With you?
Aes Sedai, the lad might be better served riding on Kisrai with me. My horse is sturdy.
Looks like a very strong horse. Yeah, it looks quite strong indeed. Is that all right? I can ride the Borderlander's horse, Aes Sedai.
I hate to be forward, but boy, if you wanted, I could carry you, and I can see rather well. It's dark.
I'm a man grown. I think he like puffs his chest out. I know that you're very strong, but well then I think he just like looks to Sarah like like waiting for permission a little bit.
I will just be
rather
ride to run in the front because I can see rather well at the moment. I know sometimes you humans have a hard time seeing in the dark.
You can see in the dark.
Of course.
If you would rather ride with the Borderlander, that actually does work. Perhaps that works as well for me.
Well, it's just, I mean, there's such a big saddle. He's like coming over to you, Jason.
And Sarah is actually pretty happy with that arrangement because that means that the two other horses are the ones that are having two riders on it. So if they try and run off, they'll be slowed down more.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Thinking in her head. is what she's
Always
thinking in her head.
Always thinking. So, with Renora and Naharik on foot, kind of like trotting, Renora with her long stride, the horses break, and the group of you begin to like cut westwards, kind of carving over the series of streams rolling to the north out of the Black Hills to the south of you, into Saldaea proper as you go. So I think that like the morning hours kind of pass quietly and uneventful as you go. The fog having burned off, there's still like a cold wind biting coming up from the south. The air is like chill and brisk. The faintest like hints of kind of green buds on the few trees that kind of follow the pathways of the streams as you so ride. The grass still brown after the long winter. Snow in some places on the leeward side of the hills and such where you see them. If you guys drink every time I say Saldaea, you guys are it's gonna be a fun night. Just hydrate. Remember to hydrate, my friend Dr. Alex says.
I think it's still safer than Melissa suggested we drink every time Callum gets afraid.
Oh, that's definitely, yeah, you will kill somebody. Careful now. Responsibility here. It's one of these, like, we never stop drinking. So, as you all kind of ride through the afternoon, across the kind of fields, cutting over the streams and stuff. One moment. Okay. I'm going to say one more time. Let's have everybody make a spot check. Okay. Wow.
Not bad.
Okay. I think that Sarah, like, you're watching as Drayson is like riding in front with the boy, and I think that Daniel is like talking to you, Drayson, as he's like kind of like whispering quietly, and Sarah, like, you notice that like the boy is like whispering to the rider, and they're kind of like peering a little bit, focusing your attention there, and Daniel is saying to you, Drayson, like, I'm very glad you're here. I don't mind saying, but I'm sure these folk are all right and all, but I've never met an Aes Sedai, and I'm a bit scared. These two friends of yours, the one made horses just explode. I've never seen anything like that before. It's quite a lot.
Yes, but as I said, they only do things like that when they need to protect themselves.
Of course, it's just that, well, I'd sooner trust a man with a sword that I can see in his hand, not one made of fire that springs up out of thin air. And I think as you guys are talking, the two of you miss this, though everybody else, Callum, Brent, Renora, Naharik, as you're moving, you're all aware your head's on swivels for different reasons. And Ogier out of her steading for the first great journey of her life, taking in the sights around you with a bit of wonderment, making note of the plants here and there. Naharik and Ailman, a warrior born and raised the like preternatural warrior instincts to be aware of your surroundings at all times. You could be come upon at any moment in the blight by danger. Meanwhile, you two male channelers with your Aes Sedai, you're on edge. There's a little tension in the air, and thus, as all of you look back, the four of you all see it. The rider, some hundreds of feet back, yet another, though this one does not appear to be galloping or barreling after you. They're on a tall, powerful black horse, shrouded in a black cloak. And I think as like the wind gusts around you, your scarves like pulling, the horse hair kind of fluttering the mane in the breeze. You see that the cloak of this black rider behind you does not move in the wind. moment, there is a sense, an overwhelming kind of sense, this figure far in the distance of just pure burning hatred. A vile kind of thing that you can almost feel between the four of you, pouring from this being peering at you. And it's a bit of a surreal experience as they're just a figure on a horse, really.
Do you all see that? I think like Renora says probably to Naharik who'd probably being closest to her.
I think it's a night. Is that a night runner? If it's a night runner, we should run.
I don't know what a night runner is, but I'm all for running. I'm just not the only one that sees it.
I think running
Bren reaches out and grabs back onto the one power.
Of course he does. Of course he does. Yep. No need for a roll there. You don't need to do anything. You could just do that as Bren's block is removed. So you grab hold of Sidene, the sick taint in your hands. You feel like the torrent crash into you as you put up your kind of internal bulwarks to control it. What are you guys going to do?
We should move faster.
Okay.
Jason's still talking to Dano. He doesn't know anything about this.
I think Renora's very deep resonating traveling voice is definitely trying to alert everybody as to what's going on, especially the Aes Sedai. It's directing pointing.
As you guys look back, you see nothing behind you, but Callum has kicked his heels in the feldspar, who rears, and begins just kicking up turf as it barrels away from you guys across the plain. You all kind of look back, you see nothing. As you point back, Renora, you gesture to the Aes Sedai, and Sarai, you follow the pointing finger of the Ogier. There's nothing behind you, but the two male channelers have just taken off, barreling away. Naharik Iswood seems to have picked up his pace a little bit, right?
Sarah's gonna kick her horse into gear, and she's going to yell at the Ogier. What did you see? What are you pointing back at? What has caused these two to start and the horse? She's galloping after the male channelers.
A night runner. There's a night runner behind us. Run fast. Hurry, horses, keep up.
And so you hear this, Jason, at this point, right? You see the other horse take off. Sarah, comes barreling around past you. Renora is kind of jogging. Naharik, kind of yells out, Night Runner.
Hold on tight, boy. Let's run, Kissarai.
Yeah. At which point your Shinaret steed leaps into action. And now I think the camera pulling away as we see the three horses, the massive Ogier woman, the only slightly smaller Aielman barreling across the kind of plains, racing to the northwest as you go. The camera trailing with you. And I think that over the course of the next hour or two, you guys barrel at a pace, racing, your eyes darting behind you, peering for what may lurk in the shadows on your heels. You find no sight of this rider again. But as the afternoon is coming on, I think that Daniel clutching tightly to around the kind of neck of Sarah in front of you, Drayson, I think that he calls out just there on the high part of the hill. He says, that is farmers whom I know. Nori and Kala, Winscott. I don't know what we intend to do, but if we need shelter for a night, they have a barn they would keep us in.
Is it safe to stop?
I do not know.
Did we cross? I guess. Okay. First of all, like, would Renora know about like that they don't like running water?
Oh, great question. Let's have you make a knowledge check amongst like the 75 different knowledges that one might roll. I think that
Can
mhm.
with Jason's experience with Shadow Spawn, can he also make a knowledge check?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Knowledge shadow spawn, I think, is explicitly the role.
Would history
knowledge
work?
of the blight.
Sure, yeah, blight works, history works. I'll give you both those. History, maybe a little less, so 10, 14. Give me a second. I'm just looking at things. So many checks, you guys. Oh my gosh.
That's one of my regional specializations.
Oh yeah, those borderlanders, they know what's going on in the blight. Okay. I think neither of you, like, I think you have a sense, Drayson, like, you know Trollocs don't like to cross running water, though, like, it's hard to say, like, you didn't see this thing, you may not even be entirely clear what a night runner is, but yeah, you do know, like, the basics, certainly, about Trollocs, right, with the 14.
I don't believe that we should stop at this farm. It's not secure. Plus, we would just endanger the people there. We need to keep going until we get to running water. Maybe a river. Maybe an ocean.
Ocean. I
think the river's the dream about the, yeah. We should keep going.
There are a series of like kind of small streams, the kind of things that are like kind of easily hopped by the horses, right? Let me double check my map real quick. As you guys are like barreling though, you are in fact going to kind of cross one of the major estuaries to the Arenal, which flows south out of Saldaea all the way down, you know. So as you guys are kind of like barreling forward, I think you can like catch sight of the river, this farm like up on the hill. You guys want to like cross the water, huh? Forget the farm. You want to try to like get across the big river?
My concern is that we're leaving these people to fend with whatever that is.
Well,
And my legs are getting rather tired, I admit.
that is possible, but more likely whatever is behind us is following us, and it will not waver from following us. So if we keep moving, it'll keep moving. Hopefully.
What do you guys think? What's the call? There's like this moment, right? There's a farm high up on the hill that you guys could like make your way towards, but you could see like another like mile or two. You kind of like see the ground like lowering this huge kind of estuary to the Arenal, extending, kind of running down towards the southwest. What do you guys want to do?
Jason will look to the Aes Sedai.
Are the male channelers, are they still like galloping ahead? I'm mostly trying to keep up with them. Are they back with me that I can tell them what to do?
You tell me, Callum, as I think you've got the reins of Feldspar.
I mean, once he realized he wasn't in sight anymore, and he definitely knows his horse enough not to keep it at like full speed constantly.
Right.
He's like not going to like run Feldspar to death.
Right. So I think
he got
you guys
the initial burst to get away, but then whenever he he definitely, after a little bit, like would have slowed down enough that the others catch up with them.
Nice. So you guys are kind of like trotting along at this point, right? I imagine you're not like moving at like a leisurely Sunday stroll here, but like you're not like barreling forward at that speed. So you can get to them, Sarai. You can ride up on them easy.
Yeah, Sarah will ride up to them and issue command. We should head to the farmhouse. There, I can use the one power to protect us from whatever you think you've seen.
Yeah, I think it would be safe to stop and perhaps also figure out a way to cross the river once we get there.
D&D things.
Pretty tired of riding at this point, so I think Brandon probably just kind of nodding to whatever they say.
It's worth noting, yeah, you guys did not get a great night of sleep the night before, yeah.
Yeah. Callum is wanting anyone to tell him what to do at this point because he has been holding on to the power for so long. It's really getting to him. And he's ready to stop down and rest. But if people say that it's not safe, he'll keep going. But
if the Aes Sedai is certain that the farmhouse is safe, then I can go to the farmhouse.
I know weaves that can protect us from shadow spawn. We should be safe at the farmhouse.
Shadow spawn, I think Daniel says.
Oh,
like,
no.
And so I
What,
guess
you've
we're
never
Nora.
seen any shadow spawn, boy?
I've not been farther north than this.
Hmm.
I have an uncle in Maradon who rides with Bashir's soldiers. He told me stories once when he came to visit Dad before he died. He said that the Trollocs were as big as a house, their chests as wide around as our chimney, bigger than her even. They have
Sometimes.
heads of goats and boars.
And many other things, but they die just as well as anything else when you cut them in half. Come, let us go to this farmhouse.
You'll
All
be
right.
safe. We'll
All
protect you.
And so you all begin to make your way up this hill, the kind of like the crossing for the Arenal, like down off to like the west a little bit more as you guys are like turning, kind of cutting north, like making your way up this low hill. And I think, as you all come riding up the hill, walking as it were, just one moment. Right, cool. As you all are like riding up this hill, you could see the curling blue smoke out of like the chimney of this farmhouse, a few like kind of small outbuildings around it. You're still about half a mile away, right? You're in like some distance. There's kind of fences, a few fences in and around, and I think that you could see some like animals kind of like moving on the other side of the fences. You hear like a dog bark in the distance, and then I think that you hear like another dog barking like much more frantically, and it's like cut off very shortly with this kind of like whimpering squeal of a yell, and as you guys are coming up the hillside, I think you hear, all of you don't even have to roll, you hear a call of like a woman's voice in the wind, like Nori in the fields, get the bow. And as you all kind of like come in, closing in towards the house a little bit, you could see off like one of the sides of this hill here, there's a herd of sheep. It's not enormous. It looks like maybe like 24 sheep, 24 tops. And there's a woman like standing with like one dog at her side, like turned with her back to you, pointing towards the house. You see another man. He looks like an older sort of fellow moving, or like he kind of darts out the door of the barn and looks to her. And out, like amidst the kind of pasture where the sheep are all grazing on the like thin bit of grass and scrub that there is, you can see there's like the woman was kind of like lowering hay over the fence with a pitchfork, the dog at her side. You guys see a bear, like this enormous, like Titanic kind of bear, moving down, kind of like stalking its way into the field, like towards the sheep. And the woman is like screaming back towards like what seems like maybe her husband at the barn to like get his hands on a bow. And I think Daniel like calls right there to like the lot of you that you all can like hear. He's like, by the light, that's them. That's Kala and Master Nori there in the farm. Is that a cave bear?
I think, yeah, Renora's running like towards this bear. Like if it's like
Boy.
being aggressive.
Hold tight to me. And Drayson charges Kasari after.
By the light. It's like the horse comes like barreling away. Renora running. What about the rest of you?
Yeah, Naharik has definitely thrown up his hood and lifted his veil. And he's got his Ashendara in his arm as he's charging as fast as he can towards this bear.
Okay.
Renora's got her like shield out and the giant axe.
Big hafted axe. Okay.
Yeah, and Rich, as soon as Drayson gets within bow range, he'll start loosing arrows from his short bow.
Dope. We will have you all roll initiative in just a moment here. Sarah, what are you doing?
Sarah is gesturing to the male channelers and saying, "Let's hold back here. We need to stay out of combat."
So Sarah like kind of reins in the horse. Callum and Bren, what about you two?
Callan is happy to stay out of combat. Yeah. Callum isn't going to rush forward unless he sees that, they seem to be in trouble.
The three of
or
you
Bryn tells them to. That's
Got
basically the.
I think Bren will follow their lead here and stay on the horse with Callum if he's pulling up, but he will pull out his crossbow and load a bolt.
Okay, dope. And so with that, the three of you kind of hanging back as you like load a bolt into the crossbow, Callum, and hold it kind of at the ready. Drayson, your horse like barreling up onto the hillside. The deal is you could take a shot at an incredibly long range. Just to talk about missile weapons for a second, you have a range increment on your bow. With a projectile weapon, you could shoot up to 10 times that range increment. So I think you have a 700-foot range, but you have -2 to attack for each like distance worth of increment. So I guess like you tell me how close you want to get to start shooting, because you could start shooting like from here. It just will be at -20 to hit.
Yeah, I'll probably wait.
Of the modifiers you got.
I'll probably wait until I get a little closer. Maybe 120 feet.
Okay, so as you close in on 120 feet, I think that you're only in like your second range increment, which would put you at -2 to hit. Naharik, what's your plan here?
Yeah, Naharik is just gonna be charging straight for that bear with his Ashendara whirling.
All right,
in his
melee
head.
combat. Let us have the three of you roll initiative.
Red.
Ooh, we should
Ooh.
switch to some like.
Oh, dangnabbit.
You beat me by 0.03.
Dexy Ogier, rather.
It's a very Dexy Ogier. I'm gonna roll my bear initiative.
Dexy 6 foot or 7'6" Ogier.
She's nimble, man. She is very, very nimble. Yep. Do one of these. 15. Drayson, you can take a shot since you're like at distance with your bow. And then we come into the top of the round. You have -2 to attack with this here bow. At a 15, believe it or not. Yeah, that hits. That is the cave bear's AC. 15 hits. This arrow like sails out off the back of the horse, like arcing over the running form
I want
for
a
7
15.
points of damage. Got it. Dracing, arrow
Nice.
fired. Renora, you come like vaulting over the fence in like an easy kind of like hop. And I think that you hear the woman by the fence like, by the light, it's a Trolloc. No, no, that's an Ogier. What is? And she like turns, looking. It's like Nahara kind of barreling along next to you. Renora, you were able to come like barreling down in. I think that like the sheep scatter, the bear like taking the hit from the arrow as you like charge through this herd of sheep, and it like rears up on its hind legs, like almost as tall as you are, as you come like racing up to it.
Yeah, Renora is gonna like shout to the woman like as like they're coming like, we're here to help, and like yeah, just raises her axe and is gonna try and hit this bear as she comes running up to it with her axe. You are muted, Rich.
Yeah, Rich, you are muted.
Sorry, I coughed and muted myself. Yeah, go for it. Make it attack. As you come like barreling forward with this enormous Ogier long-handled axe. With a 12, I think like your shield comes out in front of you. The bear like looms forward, like both feet hammer into the shield, and you like push it off. Like your swing just kind of like choked off the tiniest bit.
Also, I'm offended that bear AC is better in 3rd edition than it is in 5e.
Oh,
Every time I
forget
turn
it.
into
The
a
animals
bear.
are like so much stronger in
Ridiculous.
3rd edition, Taylor. It's like not even a
Ridiculous.
comparison. It's not even remotely a comparison. Animals in 3rd edition are like actually dangerous. Druids were gods once.
What the hell?
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
yeah.
Wizards were gods once.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, I love the meme. You know,
Anyway,
we'll post it at the end.
That's it for
That's
Renora.
for Nora. The bear like shoves your shield as you're like toe to toe with it. That is your movement action, your attack action. You got nothing else. Naharic, you are up right after her.
Yeah, so Naharak, seeing his good friend Renora make her way towards this bear, he's gonna come barreling with his Ashen Dara, and he's gonna smoke the bear as hard as he can with the blade side of his Ashen Dara.
Excellent. Because you had to move, you can't take a full attack action, so you can make a single attack. Go for it.
Okay.
This like woven like this very kind of natural looking staff in the hands of like this big human man, the veil up over his face, hood pulled over his bald head. It like twirls in this huge arc, like slashing down into the bear's flank. That hits. Go ahead and roll damage. For 8, oh, it like looks pretty badly cut as you like slash down along its side, and I think that the bear kind of like just swipes at you, Naharic. Yep.
Uh-oh.
20! As the bear like gets a huge piece of you. For those unfamiliar with the system, which I expect to be everybody, healing is brutal in this game. We will talk about it as damage is about to happen. Yes.
Rich,
Yes.
you got to confirm the critical.
I know I do. I do. Thank you for my 3rd edition ringer. Also, when you roll 20, it's not automatic double damage. You have to confirm the critical, as Drayson has pointed out to me, thankfully. And then certain weapons do more than ×2 damage. Certain crits can do triple damage, quadruple damage, quintuple damage, including the modifiers. So it gets ugly. Let me roll to confirm the crit. What's your AC? 17. What's your AC?
AC is 15. Yeah, so that hits.
That's a crit. That
Not
is a
great.
hit. Nope, not great at all. So let me roll here for a second. This might be a little bit brutal. Oh boy, fingers crossed, my friend. 15 points of damage, which is a lot. As Naharik, you kind of like lifted off your feet for a moment. You feel like the impact of the bear. I think you feel like a rib crack. Your like packed leather on your side like tears as the claws like gouge into the side of your chest. You drop back down to your feet. That was the bear's first attack. The bear's second attack for Renora. It like wheels on you, like takes a swat at you.
Yeah.
God, it's going to be one of those games, you guys. 24 will in fact hit you, which will be plus 1d8 plus 4. Holy Christ, you guys.
Okay.
By the Dark One's own luck, max damage. Renora, you take 12 points of damage as the bear's claws get in behind your shield, tearing down your arm. It's a really good thing that Random Man and Perrin never had to fight bears. They never would have made it, actually, out of the 2 rivers, you know? Renora, you feel like your arm, like blood, like running down, kind of like dripping off the end of your axe handle at this point. It's got one more attack as it's gonna bite. It tries to bite you.
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. And misses. Your shield like swinging around, smashing it in its kind of blunt nose, Renora. It like staggers back a little bit. It's on top of the pair of you. You both look pretty badly hurt. Drayson, you are up.
Drayson's going to continue charging forward on Kissarai. When he gets within 10 feet of the bear, he drops off, drawing his sword, and he's going to spring attack. He's going to move past the bear with his movement. Spring attack, attacking the bear, putting his dodge on the bear, so he gets an extra +1 to AC. The bear attacks him. And because he's moving through the bear's threatened space, he will get a +4 also. So that's going to put his AC up at like 26. And
for those who want to learn how this system works, you pay attention, right?
and hopefully he'll hit with his sword as he goes by. We'll
Go for it, make an attack. I think Daniel like kind of grabs the bow from you, and he's like, "Hold it, sir!" and like pulls the bow around in front of him as your sword comes loose.
And I don't suppose that because the bear is engaged with both of them, I can get a flanking bonus.
Hey, you've got an insane amount of movement on your badass Shinaran horse. Your positioning at will. Let's give it to you. Sure. Feels like you guys need every advantage possible against this bear. The unknown Forsaken. Nobody mentioned the bear Forsaken, right?
That's like a +2 to attack, right?
Yeah, correct. +2 to attack
Okay.
on flanking. No advantage, my friends. Floating modifiers for
So
days.
just a 14.
That was with the +2 for flanking?
Yeah,
Oh, buddy.
that's
14
brutal.
is a miss as you come racing by, and I think the bear's like its maw opens and launches for your horse's throat. The horse like has to buck at the last second. It's all you could do to keep the kid on the horse as you come like charging by. It does get to make an attack of opportunity at you because of spring attack. I just have like, you have a nightmare AC. Isn't that
Yeah.
the deal?
Yeah, that's the deal.
So yeah, it's going to try to like swat you as you go. 9. Yeah, I think that like as it like reaches out, like trying to like knock you clean off the horse, the sword like slashes and kind of like slaps it in the hand, driving it back while you barrel through to the other side of it, bringing us back to the top of the round. Renora, you're up.
Yeah. Renora's gonna try and swing again with her axe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, flanking?
Yeah, well, no, because you couldn't technically take a 5-foot step to try to get into flanking with Naharik if you wanted.
Yeah.
Cool. Yes, will do.
Oh,
Oh no.
Brutal. What the heck? Okay.
Soviets.
Yeah, really. Whatever.
That's a wild miss as you're like circling around the bear. Its maw like lunges to take your face off, and you just have to get the shield up over your head. A half-hearted swing to no avail. That is your attack. Naharik, you're up on 16. You didn't have to move, so you could full attack if you'd like this round.
Yeah, so I think he is flanking with Renora now, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so he's gonna be using he's gonna be fancily moving his Ashendari through his hand. He's gonna hit it twice, once with the blade side and once with the staff side. So let's go with the first one. He will roll with
Watch as
flanking.
like the spear tip on the end of this kind of tree-sung weapon launches out. 13, but did you put the +2 for flanking in?
I don't know. I just selected the flanking drop-down menu thing.
Yeah, let me double check. Yeah, it's in there. +2. Good God, you guys, these dice. 13 is a miss. Second attack. By the light. This was a really fun exercise.
By the light.
23 is
There
gonna hit,
we
though,
go.
right?
23 definitely hits the
Let's
butt
go.
of the Ashendari, wheeling around, cracking into this thing. Go ahead and roll damage. Nice.
Yeah,
Max
Yeah,
freaking
max
damage with the 10. That brings him down to. Ooh, yeah, he's going hurt now. You don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not one bit. The bear goes. It is going to lunge for you, Renora, as it's now like just feeling like kind of surrounded and crazed. Here's a paw attack. Critical one. Let's make opposed strength checks, Renora. Roll a strength check for me.
You're stronger than a bear.
No, not this time.
Okay, it's cool. It doesn't knock you over. It's just to see if you could get any kind of meaningful advantage on it. It's like it swings and you like hook the like head of the axe around it and like pull, and you manage to like pull it kind of past you. You can't knock it prone. It doesn't lose its second attack here as it swats again. 16, Renora? Nope. For the back of your head, the shield kind of like circling with you, and then finally it lunges for a bite, which is a little bit different, right? 5, miss. It unloads all its attacks on you, Renora. It's like swatting these two like towering Thorbs. This hulking cave bear, this Ogier woman, shield, axe like flying around, blood kind of like trailing down off of her arm. That brings us back to Drayson. You are up.
And Drayson will tell Dano to stay on the horse, and then he'll slip off and he'll run forward and make another spring attack on the bear.
Nice. As you slide off the horse, I think you hear the voice of the boy like, I'm not going anywhere. As he like grabs up the reins, your kind of bow in his lap as he's awkwardly trying to ride. Go for it.
And I'll dart in where I can get a flanking bonus again.
Yep, it's the big bear. Naharik is like at its back, Renora like face to face with it. So you come like racing forward, your feet like sinking in the mud. Holy sweet mother of God, you guys. By the dark one eye, Shaitan himself is like watching these dice. It's not
This
happening.
is because I bragged about Avery liking me. This is vengeance.
Oh,
absolutely
it's
what it
over
is.
as you
Yeah.
come like racing in, and the bear, like, an animal moving like a lightning speed. Suddenly, as you're like, I've got this, its mouth is like in front of your head, and you have to like dart at the last second. Your heel like digging into the mud as you cut past it. It will make its attack of opportunity at you as you come past. Yeah, it's going for the paw. Yeah, 16, not even close, Drayson. What's your AC with spring attack?
26
26.
with spring attack and dodge.
What level are you guys? We should have talked about
Four.
this probably.
Level
Fourth
four.
level.
Mhm.
Everybody
Yeah.
paying attention? Fourth level. His AC's 26.
I mean, I can't hit anything, so it's good that something's
You come like racing by, the sword unable to connect, the bear unable to connect with you. That's your turn, Nora. You're up again.
Again. Flanking still?
The lawless wasteland of third edition. Sure, yeah, you're flanking. Naharik is definitely on its back. Oh, are you guys even rolling dice? You don't have to.
Are you
roll
kidding
D1,
me? This is
right?
ridiculous. This
Oh
is
my word!
What the hell?
Oh,
I've been doing so good. Renora was so good. What happened? What happened?
E. Edwards in the chat, you know what's up with spring attack. Renora, no dice as the axe like comes around.
Busy
the bear,
grappling
like,
a bear.
Shouldering you. Now the two of you are like kind of wrestling. You're clinched up like a pair of boxers in the 8th round, you know? Renora, that was your turn. Naharik, you are up.
So I guess like seeing the bear dodging Renora's attack, I think that Naharik just looks at the bear and says, "You don't understand this, but tonight we will feast well on you." And he hits it with the one-handed side of the blade.
Okay.
With flanking. 24
24 definitely hits.
for 11 damage.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. You like plunge the blade in, like gouging as you like yank up out of the side. And I think the thing is like boom, falling, like sinking down into the mud a little bit, kicking up like slop on the all, like kind of, or just the two of you, as Drayson has already like gotten distance and is circling back around again. The boy Daniel is like on Drayson's horse, kind of like charging a wide circle around you all in the field. Meanwhile, I think that like the scene cuts from the frantic, bloody melee to the woman standing like near the fence with the three of you, Sarah, Bran, and Callum, and she's just like, by the light, your friends are going to get. Thank the Creator, thank the Creator. I don't know who any of you are, but. And at this point, I think the old man Nori is like running from the barn. He's got this short bow in his hand, a couple of like poorly fletched arrows, like kind of clutched in this quiver loosely in his other one. And he's like, by the light. Oh, by the light, did they killed it? Oh. I'm sorry. Welcome to our farm. Thank you. Who are you people? Where do you hail?
We are travelers heading to Meridon. We were hoping for some safe haven for the evening.
Safe
And-
haven, my lady. I'll give you my own bed and all the food that you can eat. I can't begin to thank you enough. That flock is the most expensive thing I own, and these friends of yours, just save them.
We already have all the food we can eat. It is right here. This bear is delicious.
I would gladly accept whatever dinner you have prepared. I suppose one of my Well, I suppose that man over there is good with the bear meat, but I would welcome a hot meal and a warm bed for the evening.
And the woman is just like, bless the creator. My name is Callie. This is my husband Nori. You all are just travelers?
Yes, we are traveling along the road.
Oh, please, all of you, here, come on up here. Yeah, I guess as we like, let me just ask Bren and Callum before I like jump away. What are you two doing in this whole exchange? Like, Sarah's kind of talking to this woman. This old farmer's meandered over towards you.
I think we're kind of just listening in here, kind of just following the other people's lead here. I don't think we're digging into the bear yet with Naharik.
Okay, I just wanted to like double check if there was anything notable. As we cut back to like down around the bear, like Drayson, Renora, Naharik, like the three of you are like standing here. The bear kind of like gives its last kind of groan, exhalation of breath. You can see the kind of steam in the cool air as like it lays still.
Grenora like frustratingly like puts her axe back. Oh. Oh, at least it's done. Poor beast.
I didn't even bloody my sword.
Naharik pulls off his hood, pulls down his veil, and he goes up to the bear and he slits its throat, letting the blood drain out. You can bloody it now. It will take a while to drain.
And I think you hear the like soft, like kind of footsteps of the four horses as it approaches from behind. And I think you hear the voice of Daniel behind you, Naharik, like, what is that? That's not like a normal spear. I've never seen anyone fight with something like that.
This is called an Ashandara. It is like a spear. It reminds me of home. It was given to me by a very special friend.
Home? Here's your horse, Master Hakar. You all are really pretty strong. Oh, you're hurt badly, though. Are you all right? As he like realizes there's like blood just like freely flowing out the side of like Naharik's like ribs, you know. Yeah, Renora, this like terrible cut on your arm.
Yeah, I think she's like holding on to it and is like, we should talk about this later. And she like turns away from the bear, like not looking at the like blood that's like gushing out of it. She seems too much like rent bodies and like
yeah.
Why don't you both go to the Aes Sedai and have her tend to your wounds? I will dress the bear.
Okay, that is very dirty work. I will go. Yeah, sure, you do that.
Yeah, sure. You do. And so the pair of you begin to like make your way back over towards Sarah, Callum, and Bren. Yeah. You see like this old man, he's kind of, you know, he's got like a bald head, this thin, like very short trimmed kind of white hair around the back of his head. His eyes, again, like that very kind of beautiful almond shaped Saldaean. Their skin is like a little bit darker, tanned from folks working out here in the sun, in the weather, you know. And he's clutching like this feeble kind of short bow, much less impressive than like the one at your back, Naharik. As like he looks to you, and I think the woman is just like, my word, oh, the pair of you look terribly hurt. I've never had fortune to meet an Ogier before. Thank you.
Of course. But don't worry, it's just a little, it's okay. Also, like, before Renora and Naharik walked away, Renora would have kind of, like, reluctantly, like, if you need any help with that, I just ask. But, like, we'll, like, kind of, like, make her, like, if I really, but...
I appreciate that, but Bren, Callum, why don't you come over here and help me with this?
And Sarah will look at the two and be, yes, make yourself useful.
Wow.
Todd's reaction to that, and there's Callum's reaction to that.
Yeah.
Do you guys head over?
And Daniel, like, Renora is taking, like, Daniel with her. Like, she's not leaving Daniel with the, like, bear that's bleeding out.
Would you mind leading Kisrai as well?
Certainly. Yeah.
I think Bren will follow over to Drayson. I don't think he's too grossed out by the situation. He's hunted and cleaned animals before, but
sure. Yeah.
And also Ren
Callum
bodies
too.
apart too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Callum grew up like kind of Two Rivers-ish lifestyle, so yeah.
Okay. So as the three of you like kind of group up down there, Drayson like leading while you all like start working this bear over. The boy Daniel like follows. And I think that Nori is just like, please let me tend to your horses. It's the least that I can do. I can have them brushed down, and will you stay with us for the night?
That would be wonderful if you'd be willing. We can just stay in the barn.
Daniel, is that you, boy? Do you know this boy? I mean, you must. He's riding with you, but what are you doing here? And I think Daniel's like, I'm on my way to Maradon to see my uncle, and these folks were on their way there, so I thought that I would join with them. It's safer that way, right?
Yes, that's true.
We will protect him.
And the wife is like eyeing you, the like couple of you now. Her eyes a little bit narrowed, maybe, and she's like, "Of course, yes, of course. Let Nori take care of the horses. Come, let's get you cleaned up at least." And I think that if you'll let him, the old man would like take the horses into the barn, and she's trying to kind of like usher you into the house. She invites you into the house, at least, you know.
Do you have bandages? We need bandages. This hurts a little bit.
Yes, I don't want to bleed all over the floor.
No, please. Actually, just not 5 days ago, we found somebody down by the river banged up pretty badly. He's inside resting up, but come on, it's fine. It's a farm. It's not the first blood my floor will see, nor the last, I wager. Ogier, perhaps, but...
Who is this you found someone banged up by the river? Why don't I see to him? I have some experience with healing.
Well, all right. He's mostly healed up. He's been sleeping a lot in these past few days. I don't know if your friend's needs are more pressing, but certainly. And so I think as she like holds the door open, right, you guys see this like very like large kind of working kitchen, big huge kind of butcher block tables. You're the like scent coming out of this place is not decadent or rich in any fashion, but at the same time, after the cold kind of bleak windswept plain of like this late winter in Saldaea, I think that it's like a very delectable smell as you smell like kind of cinnamon and cardamom, all of these sort of spices and herbs. There's like the like smell of kind of roasting vegetables boiling out of a stew pot hanging off a bar over the large kind of hearth in the fireplace, right? And so she kind of like leads you in, and she like looks to you, Saran, and is like, I can tend to your friends, I suppose, if you would like to see the visitor.
Yeah, I'm sure their wounds will ultimately be no problem. But so I will see to them after I see the visitor.
And I think she's like, just top of the stairs. It's your first door on your right. Nori and I, well, we used to love it up there, but after so many steps over so many years, it's not as appealing, the view anymore. We stay down here now.
And Sarah will head up the stairs.
His name was Timothy.
Timothy.
Naharak will follow.
Oh, and so she like is like calls to you in the kitchen, like, I'll be right with you. I'm just gonna fetch some bandages out of the back. I've got some old linens. And you hear her footsteps going to the back. And so Naharik, you're gonna like cut away and go upstairs with Sarah.
Yeah, and he's gonna just use his Ashendari to, just like slight limp that he's got right now, as it's like a little tough to breathe with a couple of broken ribs. So, and yeah, he'll make his way upstairs.
Okay. So yeah, Renora, you're in this kitchen, kind of like, head bowed. You're a little like hunched down. I think Daniel is like with you in the kitchen, and he's like, "Are you sure you're all right? Your arm looks pretty tore up there."
Oh, it hurts certainly, but I'm sure it'll be fine. This woman seems rather nice. You said her name was Kala, Callie, and Nori?
That's right, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I think like Aurora's like looking at the ceilings and like, but she's like enjoying like the smells of the kitchen and is like trying to be like as nice as possible.
I think Daniel's
Non-threatening.
Like, you didn't like killing that bear, did you?
No, they just wandered too close. It's just trying to survive like the rest of us in the woods.
Lots of them up here in the hills, but they don't usually behave that way. Wolves are one thing, but a bear coming down in the sheep pasture, that's strange, isn't it?
It is. It's a little concerning, considering the figure that we saw. But there's nothing to worry about. We'll be okay. We're safe now.
With all due respect, Mistress Ogier, I do not feel safe, and I am very worried. The past few days, well, it's all been a lot.
I understand. And please, just call me Renora.
Okay. And so I think that the scene like fades as the footsteps move up the stairs. And Sarah, you hear the second set of footsteps as like you turn, seeing Nahara kind of following you up while you're at the door to this guest room.
Naharik, are you sure you're okay? I will see to your wounds later. I do not want to see to them in front of the farmers, but I'm sure I can heal them as soon as we have a chance.
Well, thank you, Aes Sedai, but I'm not here for healing. I am here to see what is up with this other person.
Okay. And so I will push open the door. First door on the right.
Mm-hmm. So you push the door open. It opens easily and quietly. Well-greased hinges. Old man Nori takes care of his things. And I think as you like step into the room, it's brisk, it's cold. You see that there are windows. It's a corner room, and there's like 2 windows on each one of the kind of corner exterior walls. One of the windows is like open a few inches. The breeze kind of filling the room. Cold air in here. And I think that you see some clothes like folded up, and this like stacked on this chest at the end of a large like double bed, right? It's clearly like a bed for a couple, but sleeping in it is one man. And I think that as the door opens, his eyes do, like, despite the lack of sound, his hair is very like thick, black, kind of lustrous, as it kind of cascades over his shoulders. He's propped up on some pillows, a blanket like over most of him, but his hair like coming down over his shoulders looks long and very rich and black and like lustrous. His nose is the kind of classic Saldaean hawkish nose, very almost beak-like in its appearance, and he has a thick black beard, not like so long and kind of ridiculously unkempt as mine, but like kind of shorn pretty close, meticulous, like rich and black. His eyes open and like they're dark as they peer back at you, and he's like, "I'm sorry, do I know you?"
Does Sarah... Would this be someone Sarah recognizes somehow?
No, definitely not. I don't think. He looks like a Saldaean man, to be sure. And there is... How about this? Let's have you roll a sense motive check as you look at this man in the bed.
Okay. And I would actually like to brag a bit. So for the chat to know, I have a plus 12 in sense motive, so this should be high.
Plus 12 in sense
You
motive.
jinxed
Third
yourself.
level.
You jinxed yourself. What are you doing?
I rolled a 13, so that's a 25 total.
Third edition. 25. There is something very regal about this man, despite the fact that like you're looking at him like laying in a bed in kind of like a nightgown. There's almost like an arrogance in his eyes as he's looking back at you. He's got like a commanding kind of presence, you know, like his voice does not waver. He does not seem like afraid. Like this inquiry he makes at you is firm and strong, that of a man who expects to be answered when he asks questions, a noble perhaps, right? Mm-hmm. Or very likely. I think that you can like see it in his facial features, in his eyes. There's like a noble bearing to this man. And he's like, are you friends of the farmers then?
Yes, we're traveling with a boy who's friends with them. We are heading on our way down the road, and I heard you were injured a few days ago. I was wondering what caused your injuries. I would be interested if there's any dangers we should be expecting on the road.
It's a very dangerous time on the road, miss. I hear word there are Aes Sedai in Saldaea.
Ah. What word of these Aes Sedai have you heard?
Some. I heard there's a group riding north from Tarvalon. Passed through Three Forks not 10 days ago, by my understanding. To Maradon. They are dangerous.
Yes, I imagine it would be dangerous for anyone to be an enemy of the White Tower.
Enemy? Did I say that?
I was just speculating along with you about the dangers that could be associated with the White Tower, but let's speak more specifically about the dangers that caused you to end up holed up here in a farmer's bed for the last few days.
Yes, I did get away from the point. I apologize. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
You may call me Anna.
May I? Well, Anna, you may call me Tim.
Ah.
I was attacked by an animal of the most dangerous sort. Men.
We were just attacked by a more dangerous animal, a bear. But we killed it, thankfully.
I think like See, like, a hint of a smile. Like his face, right? His eyes almost like twinkle a little bit, narrowing. Like, I heard some commotion outside. A bear. That's unusual. You're very bloody. Are you alright?
I will be fine. They're getting the bandages downstairs. We came here to see if we can help you.
Perhaps you can. Perhaps you can. You all are just travelers? Large group?
There are. I would name us a medium-sized group at the moment.
I am an explorer. I like to explore, so I explore.
You're not from around here, are you? Where do you hail, explorer?
I
Where
don't
have you
remember.
come?
It has been a very long time. I've been exploring since I was maybe 15 years old. It's been 20 years. I think somewhere near Andor, but for now I just like to go to the west and the east, and now I come north because I want to see the north.
I think Nahara Giswid, perhaps now is the time for us to roll a bluff check. Let me double check myself here. Oh yeah, he's in a roll. Yeah, and so he's just like, yes, well, the years do weigh heavy. Some things are harder to remember. Others are harder to forget. And like his eyes like cut back to you, Sir Alec. Perhaps we can be of help. I'm sorry, did you ask me a question?
Yes, you said that you'd been hurt by a man. Do you know which man or which men?
Yes, I do. They're dead, likely. 12, 15, 50 miles downstream by now.
Oh, so you managed to kill them while taking those injuries.
I did. I had some assistance. I prefer to travel in medium groups as well. Though unfortunately, my compatriots had more pressing matters to attend. They'll be back to fetch me soon, I imagine. The good folk here were kind enough to offer me bandage, poultice, and an opulent bed to sleep in to nurse my wounds.
So your friends are planning to return to see you, to collect you. Where are your friends now?
Well, they are not here, Anna, so I can't be entirely sure, can I? It'll be a question perhaps for them, but I'm not sure how I'd pose it.
Well, where were you before you were attacked by men, and where were you going?
We were heading to the north, towards Maradon, or thereabouts. We're a
And what?
bit of explorers as well.
Well, why don't you join us? We are explorers. We go to Meridon too. Come join us.
Your friend has perhaps a very serendipitous idea, Anna.
Yes, my friend does seem to have several ideas. I think it would be good for us to talk more about this. But for right now, My friend does appear to be bleeding quite heavily on this floor. I think I should help tend to his wounds. But thank you
Rather
for.
formidable, actually, for a man to stand with such ease while blood flows from him. I know people who appreciate men like that, Explorer.
What, you have never broken a rib before? It happens, okay? You just have to rest and bandage and you'll be okay eventually.
Fairly put. We will talk more. I will come down, perhaps, and join you for dinner.
I think we are
that is
eating
too
bear.
Delicious.
I think there are different. Items on the menu, but a bear does appear to be one of those. Yes. But Naharik, why don't I see to your injury now? And Sarah will gesture for him to leave the room with her.
Nice
Meeting
meeting
let
you.
us go get the bandages.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, the pair of you leave, closing the door behind you. Meanwhile,
Are there
Yep.
other rooms upstairs?
yes,
Yeah.
there
So
are.
Sarah will lead to like an unoccupied room. She'll
You-
gesture for them to go there.
Yeah, so there's like a hallway with like another. There's essentially like 4 rooms up here, right? There's 2 doors on each hallway or whatever. So you go to like a little bit further down the hallway here and open up the door, and I think inside you see like it's like a bedroom, a much like smaller kind of like single bed. It even looks a little bit shorter, right? Like a younger person might like sleep in it. But there is like plenty of room to like sit down and deal with his injury. What do you want to do exactly?
Yeah, I'm going to be weaving some healing.
Yes, Sarah, you grab a hold of Sidar. You have no block. You could do this easily. You don't need any kind of checks.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a level 3 healing, I believe. How much damage does he take? A lot of damage, I thought.
I took 15.
Yeah, let's just be safe and do level 3. So this is going to take me 10 minutes of doing that. So
Okay, so you begin channeling for the next 10 minutes, pulling on weaves of spirit and air and water, flowing them around Naharik as you try to bind his wound. Naharik, you feel this like kind of strength returning to you over the course of the 10 minutes. You just healed him for 16 hit points?
mm-hmm.
Nice. That took 10 minutes, though, not a bonus action. So that's already a huge difference. Naharik, you find yourself voraciously hungry as like the weave takes hold, your flesh reknitting over the wound, your bone resetting itself, and a like starving, hollow kind of emptiness fills your belly up, you know. But meanwhile, while that is happening, we can cut out to the field. I don't know if there's any manner of interest in conversation around Team Bear Butchers.
Now, just to be clear, I don't actually need help with this. I just thought the two of you might like an opportunity to get away from the Aes Sedai. And first of all, what did you see out there that made us start running?
It was. It's hard to describe, but it just made me so afraid. It was unnatural, a cloaked figure, but it did not seem. Something about it didn't look right.
The wind was blowing, but its cloak didn't move at all, and it just. And Naharik seemed to know what it was, and he said to run, so I ran.
Well, that was a good choice.
Oh, glad to hear it. So
but we probably should not have stopped before we crossed a river if you saw a Madral.
A what now? We saw a what now? I think Callum was like on the verge of starting to like release and relax a little bit, but now hearing that, he's like gripping hard to the power again. Oh,
You have not let go of it yet, right, Cal?
yeah, no, had not let go of it. If we had started like trying to work on the bear, it probably would have relaxed him enough where he would have released it. But if Drayson is telling this to us before we even start doing anything, yeah, no, he still had a hold of it.
I think Bren released it right after things settled down after the bear battle. But Drayson, are you hurt though? That looks pretty bad.
No. Strangely, I managed to avoid getting hurt at all.
Okay.
I didn't manage to hit the bear at all either, but you know.
Well,
Looked rough in there. I'm glad you're okay. And honestly, it's I'm glad we have a chance to talk to you for a moment. I think you can understand why we didn't tell you everything about us, but I can assure you, I hope our actions have shown this, that we mean you no harm. We didn't choose to be what we are, but well, here we are, and we're grateful that that you've been with us on the road here.
It is kind of amusing that I joined with you thinking that I needed to protect you. The two of you are perfectly capable of protecting yourselves, but I do think I can be of some use making sure that you don't have any problems making your way through the borderlands.
to be honest, the less that we have to do what we can do, the better. So your aid is greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. As I told you, the Aes Sedai cannot lie, and her motivations can be trusted, but listen carefully to what she says.
I'd already gotten that sense, but thank you for the warning.
And I think that as he says that, and you express your gratitude, Callum, you hear a voice in the back of your mind. Don't trust them. Don't trust any of them. They'll leave you trapped in a mine if you let them. And I think that's where we'll leave our adventurers today.
Oh my gosh! Oh man! Oh my gosh!
Wheel of Time! Get hyped! We did it! We did it! We played a session live on the internet, you guys! Yeah. It happened!
We did it!
Oh, it was a blast.
This is where I say, I hope that was fun. I had a really good time. It's like delightful to watch you guys role playing together. Yeah, I feel like we're really kind of moving along now. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. I can't believe how garbage I rolled in combat, but
Oh
it
my
was
God.
fun.
Everyone couldn't hit that bear for a
Ridiculous. Roll
dance.
20 was really just
Honestly, yeah, the dice leaned into the like, hey, chapter 1, all the characters
Yeah.
Let's like really overwhelm them with bad stuff. I didn't even get
great,
into
though.
talking about it, but yeah, healing roughly. Excellent. I'm glad you just finished your ship. That's good timing. Healing in third edition and in this Wheel of Time role-playing game, you recover a number of hit points equal to your character level daily. Right. So at fourth level characters, 15 points of damage. That's 4 days of bed rest, unless you have an Aes Sedai like weaving over you. You know, hit points are precious and life is cheap in, in third edition. So yeah, there are no death saving throws. We go into negative hit points. If you drop below 0, you continue losing hit points until you hit negative 10, at which point you are dead. And there are no third level weaves to restore the dead. There are not 5th level weaves to restore the dead, nor are there 9th level weaves to restore the dead. So yeah, this is very interesting. Yeah, no problem. I'm not going to butcher your name, Radu Tepis, but yes, thank you for joining us, Rad. Like to all the new folks in the chat here, I thank you for joining us tonight. We are Wheel of Time nerds. I love it, and I tried to reach out to Twitter of Time and the Wheel of Time community. I talked to a bunch of great folks on Reddit over the last couple of days in the Wheel of Time subreddit, and it's a treat to get to bring new folks in. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and I hope. Oh wow! I got it right. That's amazing. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad to see friendly new faces in the chat. It's always a delight to have you here. What about you guys? Any crazy thoughts, like highlights, fears, expectations? What do you guys think of everything so far?
I think it was fun to have the channelers all stand back and let the melee folks, since
Yeah.
in the battle that we kind of like talked about from our last practice session, where like I said, like Callum like threw an exploding rock and like killed like the first shot of the combat, like killed like 2 guys and their horses, and just like that is like
immediately.
And the melee people were like, do we even need to do anything? So it was fun to actually stand back with the melee folks. They have their time.
Seconded, Todd. I thought it was like very, first of all, it's really generous of you guys, you know. Can't like overstate how much this particular group of people, like, I love all of you. I love playing with you, and like I have a lot of trust in you guys, and that's the kind of stuff you get when like the group trusts each other, right? We can like sit there and let the channelers role play together for like 20 minutes, half an hour, while then like you guys can all willingly like just stand back and let the one combat like be the moment for the melee characters to shine.
Hey, it probably looked cool at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, you know, spring attacking left and right, just not doing any damage.
The bear
I came
is
very
dead.
close to spurring that horse forward and coming in to help you guys out there. But
It's getting risky for a second there, Eric.
If anyone had started to go down, because Callum would have been like, spring the horse forward for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Hey, Rich, when we were doing the dream stuff, we encountered a Madral.
Yes.
Is that canon for us?
I was
sure.
I couldn't remember if the murder, because I know there's like the one where we all came together was like definitely like played as canon dream stuff. But other stuff I couldn't remember if the murder was something that was just like, oh, we're playing around the system, or if that's actually something where we all encountered it in character.
I think let's like so just to clarify for like the viewers here, right? We practiced over the course of the last couple of months. There was a world where I was like, hey guys, we're going to start this stream in January, as it's like April 3rd, you know? So we've like gotten together every couple of weeks and we play with the system and we're like getting used to things. And so, yeah, I hope that it was trackable to pick up after a fight that nobody got to see off screen. But I kind of love that in a way, not the Wheel of Time, but like it's very Star Warsian to kind of jump in the middle of the story and have a little bit of establish. But clearly these people have all like shared some dreams together, which the Wheel of Time readers know is like interesting and relevant and like kind of curious. So I think that in your sharing of a dream, you had seen a Burdraw before, but in a very different kind of configuration, right? Not like necessarily cloaked and on a black horse, but like a nightmare fuel coming at you, faceless, eyeless, the whole thing, right?
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Well, this is episode 1 of Threads in the Pattern Down. I'm kind of looking at this as like our chapter 1, book 1. And so I'm very excited for the rest of our journey. For the folks out there in the chat who are like excited, like, when are you going to do it again? Much like a traditional D&D game, scheduling can be tough. So we're not going to be here every Sunday night. We're looking for probably like twice a month, right? That's the kind of pace that we've set for ourselves. It's not going to necessarily be a guaranteed, but if you go follow me on Twitter at DMPhilly, you'll see me tweeting about it. I will like blast out the message. I expect we'll try to get together this month, but it will probably be like the last week of the month, if anything. We got Easter, we got holidays, we got stuff happening. So I think come end of April, we will be regrouped again. We have intentions to like run forward for this for a while. I have a fun I have a fun story compiled to take us into Saldaea. This was kind of just our like getting our feet underneath ourselves and up and running. Book 1, Terror Bear. Yeah, chapter 1, the little icon over the chapter is just a bear. And so, yes, we will be back again. Yeah, any like final crazy thoughts? We'll go around and we'll say our parting goodbyes. But is there anything like outstanding that you guys just like don't want to forget to mention tonight?
I'm just happy to get that little bit of paranoia there at the end, Rich. That was
Because
we, one of the reasons I like was really looking forward to playing like a male channeler was like the possibility of that sort of thing, like going with the character that with the system, there are roles to determine like how mad your character gets as you channel, over channel, take damage, all that fun stuff. There's a good possibility that the character could not be playable after a certain point before anything else happens. So being able to explore that type of thing is one of the things I'm really excited about for this game.
I am delighted. I didn't want to like drop it too early because I wanted to create some space for you guys to like kind of connect a little bit as players, as characters. But yeah, the madness is intrinsic, right? Like I will not be overlooking the taint. It's not. Yes, it is possible to have Wolf Brother channeling. You could do a lot of very crazy stuff. Like if it's in the Wheel of Time, it's achievable in this. And if you want to hit me up in the DMs on Twitter, I could probably like help you find these books should you be seeking them out.
I for one am ready for the rich Luz Theron voice for sure.
The prologue is like my absolute favorite ever of Eye of the World, and I put it on today just to like get hype again and like reframe that opening, that very first kind of like monologue into chapter 1. And like I just was riveted. I told these guys like, whoops, I accidentally started reading Wheel of Time again. Whoops. Anyway, nonetheless, the hour grows late. Eric, my friend, anything you want to like point out in the world, or anything that like we should be paying attention to before we say farewell for the evening?
I'll just add on that about that madness thing. I know there are rules in the rule book about madness, but that's kind of behind the scenes. Like Todd and I don't know anything about how mad our characters are because you take care of that behind the scenes. So that's really interesting that you dropped that in there, and I'm excited to see where that goes.
I am happy to discuss the madness rules more. They're very interesting. I read New Spring first. We'll talk about it someday, I'm sure. But, Eric, man, it's such a treat to have you here. It's a delight. I really appreciate it. Bren is fantastic. I can't wait to dig into more stuff with him. Taylor, how about you? Anything out in the world you want to like be bringing attention to?
Gosh, I mean, just I say it a lot, but just be nice to everybody. There's not like a ton that I'm doing right now. I'm like, hopefully we'll like get back to streaming one day, but be nice. I'm super excited to keep playing this. I'm happy to, for the first time ever, to be the tallest, biggest character in the party with the most hit points, and I am loving it. So
you're a brute. They haven't even seen the half of Renori yet. You're like godly. Also, the voice, big hit. There was like some trepidation, silly voices. Taylor, you're killing it. You're killing it.
Thank you.
Thank you as always for like joining me, my friend.
Of
If
course.
I'm like streaming games, you're invited. David, how about yourself, man? Anything out in the
Uh,
world that we should be paying attention to, or you just want to hype up?
if anybody happens to follow me on Twitter, and I'm not saying you should, but if you do, just know that most of my Twitter feed is my son and I doing screenshots of Ghost of Tsushima. Like that's just all we do.
Hey, man,
That's
it's a
great.
great game. That is the thing. I will blast out links for these folks' Twitters next time. I'm just like behind the gun already, and like I could frantically start trying to copy paste. But what's your
We'll
Twitter
be
handle?
here again.
We will be here again.
Oh, it's just my name, but don't worry about that.
Okay, we won't worry about that. We won't worry. This is the best. These guys are very, very low key and awesome. Todd, how about yourself, man?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Librarian Todd because Todd Librarian was too many characters. You can also find me every week on One Indescribable Podcast, where Adam H., TV Lindy, and myself go through the late, great CW show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. We are getting ready to wrap up our coverage of Season 2. Tom was recently a guest on there. Lots of PSR folks have been guests on there. And if you want to find out more, you can visit that Twitter at 16G Podcast. That's ONECXG Podcast.
Yeah, go hit him up. I just threw a link here in the chat. Todd is a very humble guy. He has been here on DM Philly before. He's part of an elite team, I believe, called 3NG, who produces Dungeons and Dragons musicals in the Discord server where we all hang out. They have made 2. They're making a 3rd. I have no idea who's involved. I'm just kidding. I know all the secrets. They're really incredible. If you go over, I think it might be archived on my YouTube. You can find The Journey Home, the second of the Dungeons and Dragons musicals created by Todd and our dear friend Tommy, who's been here playing Microscope with us, and Pia in the chat, a legend in the Philly fam who plays on Kings of Neon, which will go dust off soon enough. And yeah, I'm like delighted to have you here, Todd. One of the first folks like kind of watching what I was doing when we got fired up on Twitch. It's like great for it to be full circle, man. Yes, awesome. Tom, how about yourself, sir?
Yeah, so Todd mentioned I was on his podcast a couple weeks ago. I also did a guest on Shit the 90s Shows Taught Me with Jess Sterling and Sarah Ferguson, which will be coming out tomorrow. So I would suggest you check that pod out if you have a chance. It's about Dawson's Creek, and if you have ever heard Jess Sterling on a podcast, she was on one on that podcast, so it would be a treat for any Jess Sterling fans as well. Yeah,
we're all
other
Jeff
than that-
Sterling fans here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other than that, not a ton. Played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons in PSR Discord. You can always find me there.
Yep. Tom, again, you're another one of the folks that was like very supportive of me when I first launched this and was like terrified and out of my depth. And you're very supportive. You're a good friend. I've had a delight like talking about the Wheel of Time with you all year and like successfully getting browbeaten very easily into reading Sanderson. It is awesome to like go full circle and like get you here playing with us now. Thank you for everything. Thank you for bringing it. Thank you for playing a Red Aja, because like, geez, keep me on my toes, man.
So good.
Prez, how about you? The invisible man down there. Anything you just want to like point attention to in the world or hype up or we should be thinking about?
Not really. I mean, if I'm doing anything to do with podcasting, it's probably right here on DM Philly, twitch.tv/DM Philly. But I think that for everyone who isn't familiar with the Wheel of Time, it's such a rich universe, rich fantasy universe. I'm so excited for you guys to come along on this journey, and I think you might fall in love with it as much as we did.
Indeed. I'm sorry, Tom, I won't let you link stuff in here.
Sorry.
Yeah, That's okay. That's not your fault. I just gotta like mod people and yada yada yada. Prez, well said. Yeah, it's worth me pointing out. I do a bunch of stuff. I stream tabletop role playing games and some video games and stuff here. You can catch us on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. We play Dragonfly, which is D&D in space. We take the first Monday of every month off because space is an exhausting environment to be in. So we will not be here this Tuesday, but every other Tuesday we will be here. Next Saturday, 3 p.m. here, we'll be doing Mistborn Book Club. We're going in to talk about part 3 of Mistborn, The Final Empire, which is the proper title of the first book, right? And next Sunday we will not be doing this, but we may be doing something else fun. So thank you all for like popping in, for giving me a follow here. This team of people, a great number of them worked with me over while the Wheel of Time was airing this season on Amazon Prime. I get to podcast about it regularly for post-show recaps with the great Josh Wigler, of course, and a number of us here were part of the Wheel of Time book club, where we got together for extra conversations to dissect the show from the perspective of the book readers. Yeah, you can find all of those podcasts on the Post Show Recaps Network, which is a very cool place. This is where we all play Dungeons and Dragons together. If you go find them on Patreon and sign up at the $10 a month level, you get that Discord where we all play and hang out and talk about all this stuff all the time. I'm hoping to have a Patreon launch personally, so eventually, but I'm going to stop putting dates on things so I don't feel artificial pressure. I just want to like take a moment to say to all you guys, this is where I may get a little verklempt, and I'm going to try to keep it together. I had like a really hard week. I lost like one of my closest friends, who is a cat, not a human being, but had spent like the last like 13 years with me through like some hard stuff, and was probably like the best cat I've ever owned. And so I've been like going through the whole emotional process, and I like lost my dog this fall as well. And I talked to all of you personally about how the whole notion of the Wheel of Time and there are neither beginnings nor endings is so like personally powerful to me that I dwelt on that a lot this weekend. So I don't mean to end this on a down note, like good things, because having this to look forward to, knowing that I get to spend the night with my friends, doing something I'm super passionate about, like, God, you guys kept me breathing for the last 3 days. So truly, to like everybody out here who came and supported us tonight, like, thank you. This is my full-time job. I live and eat on this stuff. If you want to hire me to run private games for you or your family or your kids or your neighbors, you can come hit me up. But especially, like, I just want to like dedicate tonight to my cat Eggleston, who was the best, and really like thank everybody involved in this. You all here, I'm going to forget, but I want to thank Dr. White Chocolate and Lemelisk42, who are just Reddit users that I found that allowed me to use the graphic that was at the front of the page. I want to thank all of you, and of course the people at Post Show Recaps, who have been like such a rock for me over the course of the last year. And yeah, that's probably good enough. I should thank Robert Jordan. I also want to thank Pixel Fun, who sent me like a really fun composite image of my face made only of Wheel of Time screenshots from the TV show proper. That was like a delightful thing to wake up to this morning. You guys are the best. And I think, oh gosh, thank you for that, anonymous gifter. I'm not trolling for more, but like legit, thank you for that. Yeah, that's it. I'm not ending on a down note. Like truly, this has been like such a joyous night for me, for us to like, we spent a lot of time getting this going, and to see it now like happening, and have so many like friendly faces and new folks popping up in the chat. Like it makes my little heart pitter patter. So for real, you guys, thank you. And I think with that, we say goodbye. This is not the ending, but we will say goodbye.
Bye.